tea derivative still.
Can I offer you some tea?
Good tea. Nice house.
Would you make me some of that Plomeek soup?
Hello and welcome to Plomeek Teatime number 63, where we will take a look at a UFO TV series episode. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I have been covering UFO, the British science fiction television series from 1970 that covers the future, the future world as it sees it in the far-flung future of the 1980s. And so it's just a lot of fun. But it's true, I haven't reviewed it in 6 months.
6
So,
months? Oh, wow. Has it been that
well,
long? Gosh.
yeah, we've been doing a whole bunch of other
Wow.
stuff, and
Boy.
everything else gets in the way.
Gee, time really flew by then. I didn't
Yeah,
realize it was that long.
for sure. And I just want to say hello to my co-host today, Pleasant Valley Picker. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Just having my second cup of tea. I'm still kind of waking up a little bit, but yeah, I guess I'm doing okay. Nothing major, I
Good.
guess.
All the laundry done?
No, I got to do that tonight, actually. I
Yeah.
know. I was going to do it last night, but then I got on, what was it? It was the cringe stock, girlish cringe stock thing.
Uh-huh.
And so I ended up watching that. And then after
Oh, right.
that, then we chatted like at the
Then
after show, like after the stream ended, girl had just left it open. So there was like a few of us that kept chatting, and I think we
that's
chatted
what I
till,
did. You stayed chatting on my show too yesterday.
yeah,
So that name of that movie, that Gorilla Watch, seemed really interesting to me.
oh, it was
On a scale from
horrible.
1 to 10,
It was horrible.
what would you rate
Uh,
that
I,
movie?
oh gosh, it was pretty bad. Well,
Like,
it was basically, I
but
think
it wasn't so bad it's good, at least? No?
no, 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 it was just bad.
Okay.
But
There's
it was
something about
well.
some kind of, what
There's
was
an
it
old
called again?
oh geez, slave girls from some dimension or some
Yeah, from another dimension.
crazy title. Yeah, I mean it didn't mean much of anything anyway because I don't think they didn't seem like they came from another dimension and they didn't seem to be slave girls.
Oh,
You
no.
know,
That
they were just like
really,
two blonde bimbos running around in running around in their underwear basically for most of the film.
that's it? Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Well, the thing is, there was really creepy, sadistic guy, and he had. I mean, it was kind of ridiculous because he had like a crossbow, but it didn't shoot arrows; it shot laser beams,
Okay, well,
which makes
that's
little
weird.
sense.
Well, okay,
Yeah,
thank you for the brief review on that one.
yeah, it was bad.
Weird. Well, I do wanna say hello to Franco Walker, and Ariba Bell says, "What's up, Pussy Nation?" And Brogu says, "Hello. Hello, Brogu. I am having a wonderful day. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday. It's the last day of the week, going into
Hi,
the weekend. Hope
hello,
everybody's
Franco.
having a really good day."
Hi, Ari.
Mhm. On the phone. Oh, he's on the phone. Shh, everybody quiet. He's on the phone. Tiger Stripes. Hello. Hello,
Hello, Tiger
Tiger
Stripe.
Stripes. So good to see you. Oh, no. All right. So, so today we're going to be talking about a UFO TV series episode, but these reviews don't last all that long. So afterwards, we'll just hang out and we'll, so if you hang around for a while, we'll just be hanging out. So we'll see what's going on, what we end up talking about. So this episode is called Sub Smash. This is the 17th episode in production order. Oh, Tiger Stripe says IMDb has a film called Slave Girls from Beyond Infinity. Was that the name of the
That
movie?
that sounds like it might be it actually. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the
Well,
movie was so bad, I didn't really bother memorizing the title
oh,
because
okay.
I
So
never want to
it
watch it
wasn't
again.
from another dimension. It was from
No, I guess it might have been
Beyond
Beyond
Infinity. What the hell
Infinity.
does that even mean? Infinity what?
I have no idea because it was never explained, and there was never
Because
nothing about
infinity,
infinity in the movie, like nothing.
yeah, that's just That just means a number that goes on forever.
Well, basically,
Uh,
that it started that they stole a spaceship because I guess they were being harassed by these bad men, and so they stole a spaceship, which amazingly they knew how to fly it. I mean, I guess they must have taken flying lessons in this ship that they'd probably never been on before. But anyway, they escaped, and then they land on another planet, and then there's this sadistic creep with the crossbow that ends up he
yeah,
hunts people. Yes, have you ever heard of a movie called I think it's The Most Dangerous Game? It was like an old European
no.
film, I believe, and it was about a guy that hunted humans. And I think the
Hmm.
original film was actually quite good, but they took the idea basically, but then they didn't do much with it in the film, unfortunately. So yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Not really. But I know that Grill's live streams are fun. Tiger Stripe says IMDb trivia, it says the film was condemned as indecent on the floor of the U.S. Senate by North Carolina Republican Senator Jesse Helms in 1992.
He was
Well,
5 years late because it came
I
out in
think I think he
'87,
was
I
just
believe.
I think he was just projecting his film critic side that day. He was just so offended that it wasn't good. If it
Yeah,
was a
I don't.
good movie, he probably wouldn't have minded the ladies in their underwear.
Yeah, there's some kind of sleazy stuff in it, like the creepy dude would kind of manhandle some of his women. He'd chain them to the wall, and there was a few scenes with boobies, and but that was about as indecent as it got, really. I mean, it was pretty
Yeah, but
tame by
okay.
modern standards.
But the problem with that is that that's not a good movie unless something happens to him at the end and like
Yeah,
he gets his comeuppance or
he did.
something crazy
Yeah,
happens.
he did end up getting
Oh, he did.
mortally wounded, and then he sat down in his throne, encrusted
His
with
throne.
human skulls, and he hit a plunger that blew himself up and blew his whole building up. So yeah, it was
A
actually
plunger.
the ending. Yeah, like a like used for dynamite.
Okay. All right. All right. Anyway, we're not
Uh,
talking about
yeah, let's
slave
not
girls
talk about that.
from the
Yeah,
beyond infinity. All
yeah,
right.
let's
So
talk.
this
Yeah.
episode, this episode is, of UFO is the 17th in production order. It first aired on November 11th, 1970. It was written by Alan Fennell and directed by David Lane. Both of these men also wrote and directed, respectfully. Alan wrote, David directed other Jerry Anderson works, specifically Thunderbirds, which I still haven't seen. And oh, hey, look, Captain Phantom Nerd's also here. Hello.
Oh, Captain Hand and Nerd.
So, so this is a thing. Hmm. So Subsmash was the last script that we get from Alan Fennell.
Oh, okay.
He wrote 50 other scripts for Anderson before this, so he did a lot of work for him,
Hmm.
working for him for 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And he passed in 2001. This book has when people pass away when he was 65. And oh, this book, what was the name of this book? This is The Complete Book of Jerry Anderson's UFO by Chris Bentley. Okay. So I just want to make sure I mention the book that we get some of our information from. This episode was shot on it was filmed in the studio at MGM, but it was also filmed on location. So because we do get shots in a little bit of the Harlington Straker Film Studios. Of course, that's at the Neptune House, ATV Elstree Studio Center. Oh, Eldon Avenue, Bore, Hamwood, Hertfordshire. And then there's the Martin Cottage Lay Hill near Cressum, Buckinghamshire, which is Rutland's house. And so we get the cool things that we see in terms of the major equipment is the Atlantica freighter. So that's what you see right here. And then later on, we see the Albatross seaplane, the shadow car, a Jeep, another Jeep. Then, of course, we see Skydiver 1, which is our submarine Sky 1, which is a little rocket ship that's attached to it. And then the villain in the episode is the USO, not the UFO, the USO. This is an unidentified submarine object, and it is this right here. This is the USO, and this is about to destroy, completely obliterate this Atlantica freighter, and that's what it does. It doesn't just blow up once. Anderson loves his explosions, so it blows up once, second time, third time, fourth time. I really enjoy this episode. It's really good, but you think it's gonna be a struggle with claustrophobia, but instead Straker puts that aside as best as he can for the sake of his crew. And the episode turns out to be more about the feelings of helplessness. And also, one of the coolest things is we get Nina, who normally works at the moon base, but this time she doesn't have her purple wig. So it's pretty cool to see her working on the submarine, and it seems like she's the communications officer. And so this is essentially a bottle episode. And so that since most of it's on the studio in the submarine, and so that saves some money for them. And I don't know where they film, because this is the last time they're at the MGM studio. So I don't know where they film after this. There's a lot of laughs in this episode.
Yeah, well, this is
So
number 17, you said, Jill. So there's still a
Mhm.
few more to follow after this one, then.
Right, I think about 9. I forget. And so they're searching. They're searching for this USO that destroyed the freighter. And Straker goes on this mission even though he's got claustrophobia. And actually, I kind of want to do a scene reading, because this episode used to have a different opening scene between Straker and Nina, because they were facing the death alone in the skydiver, and they put this at the beginning of the episode instead of the end. And so this is that scene. So I'm going to put this in the chat. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, right. Okay, so let me try this. Also, hello. Oh, Franco Walker says, please. Okay, so please subscribe, share, hit like, select live chat. Thank you, Franco. That's good. That's good news. So I'm going to put this little script in here because I thought it might be fun. This is not ever. I don't know if this is on. I don't know if they ever filmed this deleted scene or put it on the DVD in some way or whatever. But if they haven't, we're going to recite it for you now. And PvP, you're going to be Straker, so you don't have to read anything except for where it says Straker is saying something. But you don't have to read the narration. I'll read that.
Okay.
So this isn't in the episode. This is how they started it. They started it at the end, so the whole episode was going to be a flashback.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
sure changes the dynamic of the episode if you put that scene at the start. Like, that would be quite different.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. And so it was here in this book that I told you about. The Chris Bentley book.
It's nice when they have books on shows with a lot of details like that.
I know. I'm going to be reviewing For All Mankind, and I can't find anything on that because it's such a new show.
Maybe
right?
that's why,
And
because it's new.
yeah, right. And so I don't know what I'm gonna do for that. Even the Orville had stuff, so I'm gonna have to find. I don't know. Maybe I just need to do more research.
Maybe online there might be something.
Oh, there's a lot. Let's see. I think it's got to be. Yeah, it's almost done. Oh yeah, and you got one dramatic scene right here. Okay, that's good enough. You ready?
I guess. I don't think I'm going to be able to do a Straker voice though.
What? What?
I
Why
don't
not?
think I don't think I could. Well, I know I can't
Hmm.
get his accent. That's for sure. I'll
Well,
try.
you don't have to do his accent. He's Canadian.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll
He's
just.
Canadian playing American.
Okay, I'll just read it in my regular voice, I guess. Then.
Yeah, that's fine. A shoulder and upper part of one breast are bared through the tunic. Grease smears the smooth skin. Her hands and fingernails are broken. A hand that has worked desperately to stay alive. She fights for breath. Another angle. Straker comes through the doorway to the captain's cabin. He is close to death, his face showing the tremendous strain of the long hours of waiting. The end is near. The breathable air is practically nil. He carries the ship's log. Two shot. Straker looks across to
How
Nina.
do you feel?
Fine. He knows she is lying.
How long have we known each other?
12 years. On Straker.
12 years.
He remembers the years and all that has happened. On Nina. It was good to have people around. Wider angle, Straker nods, understanding her last remark.
You know, I always thought of you as a loner.
Maybe it takes one to know one.
Well, loneliness is a state of mind. Sometimes it can even be a virtue.
On Nina. It is an effort to speak. The words come very slowly. You mean you learn about yourself? On Straker, he nods. He is not sure if she really understands, but the failing air, the situation, it's all a little unreal.
Nina,
He hesitates and looks over to Nina. On Nina. Her eyes are closed. She has lapsed into unconsciousness. On Straker. He looks at the log, last entry. As he fights his exhaustion, his thought voice reads from the page.
Captain's log, 1550 hours. Air pressure falling. Emergency supplies malfunctioning. Oxygen count down to 15.1. Emergency power failing. Command, captain, crew, and rescue team. No one could have done more. Note for Dr. Schroeder. Subject myself. Pulse rate 105. Claustrophobia negative. Oh, well, I can't get any further on the script, Jill. It's not showing up. You still there?
Yes, yes, no, that was wonderful. Perfect,
Oh,
PvP.
okay. Oh, I thought there
And
was
great
more.
job. No,
Oh,
that was it. That was
oh,
it. You
that was
did
it.
perfect.
Okay. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
and then it cuts to the skydiver underwater. It has crashed to the rocky seabed and is wedged at an angle of 45 degrees, stuck on its right side on an outcrop of rock. And then they have the UFO title, and that's the beginning of the episode in this alternate version of it. But in this case, they don't do that. And so, yeah, take a bow. PvP you did great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, and also
Uh,
Bone is here. Hey, hello, hi, Bone. Oh, Franco Walker's still on the phone, but that's okay. I know you want to. You got your laptop open. That's what matters.
yeah, that really would have changed the whole feel of the episode if they'd put the ending at the beginning. That would, I don't know. It's kind of interesting to think about, but
Yeah, they put the drama at the beginning. Yeah, if you front
yeah,
end that, it's a definitely different episode.
yeah, it would have really
But
changed it a
instead,
lot.
instead, all we see is the unidentified submarine object destroy this ship, and then Straker and Alec say that there was a radar blind spot that allowed the UFO to come in and hide itself underwater. And the underwater thing is a very important thing because these aliens subsist in the water. If you ever see these aliens on this show, they're spacesuit is always filled with water, and this water turns them green for some reason. This keeps them alive, but the Earth's atmosphere ultimately kills them. But they're here because they need human organs, so they're here to harvest humans. But they do it very slowly. They only send one to three spaceships at a time. They never really mount a huge invasion force. I'm not sure why. That part's not exactly explained.
Yeah, yeah. If they'd sent like 100 UFOs on one attack, that might have been a little more successful.
Mhm.
You know, but
Yeah, right, exactly. But no, but they do it just perfectly so that the shadow organization can take care of them as they come.
that's right. Well, I guess that that's so the series can happen, right? So yeah,
Right, but this is the clever thing about going underwater is that since they subsist in water, it makes sense for them to be underwater.
you know,
And it
I was just going to mention what you were saying about the aliens. You know how they, are so well. They're very alien, like and they can't exist in our oxygen, like it's toxic
they
to
can
them.
for a little while, but eventually they die. Yes.
Yeah, because it reminds me of another show that came out in 1967, I think it was. It was on for 2 seasons, 67, 68, called The Invaders, American show. And it was about aliens coming to Earth, basically to invade the Earth because their planet was dying. So they needed a new planet, and Earth, I guess, was similar to theirs. Only thing was, though, they would have had to terraform because the one thing that didn't make a lot of sense was that they found the atmosphere toxic too, but they had regeneration chambers that they brought with them to Earth, like they'd set up centers where the aliens would go and regenerate themselves every so many days so they could actually live on our atmosphere as long as they regenerated. So it was kind of similar to UFO in that sense.
Oh, except that these aliens are a little more intelligent than than the UFO aliens that just come to die. And
Mm,
but in this particular episode, at least they have the sense to go under the water, and they decide that they can harm Alec
yeah,
and Straker say that the UFOs are must find it easier to harvest humans just by taking a ship down. And so that's essentially what they suspect. We don't really see the UFOs much in this episode, but they're causing all the trouble.
yeah. It's more just to have that dramatic opening with the freighter, I guess,
Mhm.
basically.
Yep, exactly. Let's hope the aliens don't think that we're the mouse. Mhm. And there's Darnina working as communication officer. Pretty cool. I love seeing her doing something different.
Yeah, I guess some of the crew must do have different jobs. I guess they must get shifted around on different schedules or something. Different, you know. I guess every so many weeks, maybe they go and they do something different for a little while.
Yeah, and it's super cool.
Yeah, well,
So Sub Smash is it's not only the last UFO episode to be filmed at the MGM British Studios, but also the last production of any kind to be shot there. So
really,
that's a big thing. That's a big
wow.
thing in TV history, and UFO's part of it. I think that's pretty neat. Striker's just taking a look around and commending the ship. He's supposed to have claustrophobia, but and they do try to portray it, but he never actually really suffers too much. He and as he says in the office, he says, "Well, it's big. It's not the submarine isn't too tight." Even though he said, "Oh shoot, hold on just a moment. What? Why am I? Why do I have another StreamYard open? This is weird. Let me close this one."
Oh, what happened?
No, I was just getting distracted by another window.
Oh, okay.
This is kind of weird. This is. Did you notice this is the only thing that makes me think maybe there is something going wrong with his mind, because if you look into the mirror, you don't see a reflection of the actual location that he's in. You see just like a black background.
That's right. Good point, Jill. I hadn't
Okay.
thought of that, but yeah, maybe his mind is maybe starting to hallucinate a bit or something.
Yeah, and he hallucinates hard later on. So
So
he is actually, he really is. I think that the thing is he really is being affected by the claustrophobia, but he's able to overcome it.
well, Straker's pretty strong-willed, so I guess he can overcome it to a certain extent. Yeah, but it probably, as you
Mhm.
say, because of the mirror thing, he probably is being affected to at least a small extent.
Yeah. Yeah, so they think they find whatever it is they're looking for, the thing that destroyed the freighter, so they dive. And I love looking at under the water, and one of the things I love about UFOs, of course, they always tell you where they're going and which direction they're looking in, and it all feels very real. But then they lose where it is. But the USO doesn't lose them. They lose it, but it doesn't lose them, and it hits them. It comes on the skydiver comes under attack from the USO. It damages the submarine's rear section and port motor. So now the submarine can no longer get back up to the surface. Everybody's tossed around.
I do wonder why the alien sub didn't just finish them off. Like I know the episode has to happen, but
Right. If it happened like the freighter, then that's the end of the episode. That's it. That's a good way to end the series if they wanted to. Just like
and the
15
series
minutes in.
with
Yeah, no, sorry
Straker
guys.
dying. That would have been hilarious, actually. Actually, it'd be funny if
It would have been.
someone did a fan edit of that. That could be pretty good.
Mhm. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
And
yes, logical plot hole, I guess, basically, or a plot hole logic, illogic.
yes, and this Anthony Chin, he is hurt, and so this is the beginning of his tragic story. And so they decide to launch the little rocket ship because the rocket ship is still working, fortunately, even though the submarine has been damaged. And so they do. It launches and they're able to destroy the USO.
Ah, there you go. Maybe that's why. Maybe it didn't have time to finish Straker and crew off.
Exactly. That's what happens here. It was going to finish them off, but we sent the Sky One little rocket. I love rocket ships attached to submarines. Is there like why don't we do that in real life?
I have no idea. Jerry Anderson was always good at that, though, is coming up with bizarre and interesting vehicles in his shows. Like Thunderbirds has a whole
Mhm.
bunch of different ones, right? So yeah,
Oh, I haven't seen it yet, but I believe you.
it's one of the Marionation ones with the puppets.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh
it's a
yes,
very
yes. Well, I've heard all about it from
yeah,
Dalek 451. He loves Thunderbirds. He'll
it's a
talk
very
to me.
popular.
He'll talk
It's
my ear
yeah,
off about Thunderbirds, even though I have no idea what he's talking about. But I love listening
yeah. No,
to
it's a very
him gush
popular.
about it.
It's one of Anderson's probably more popular shows with a lot of fans too. It seems so.
Well, for
Yeah.
sure. And so they have to switch to emergency power, as you do. And they know they're going to crash. They're going to crash on this rock. And so the entire submarine comes to rest on a rock ledge because the skydiver is sinking because the turbines fail. And so that's where they are. They just crashed. And of course, tending to Chin's wounds. And okay, so there's more stuff from this book that's interesting, I think. Principal photography began on the last of MGM's episodes on November 18th, 1969. Only 6 members of the cast were needed, so all the rest were released from the contracts and left the series to find other work. Whoa,
Huh.
okay. Which ones? Why would she just drop that
What
knowledge and not tell me who left?
if there's like 9 episodes though, why would they let all the rest of the cast go out of their contracts? That seems
I
bizarre.
have no idea. I
That
don't
I
know.
wonder if that makes any sense. Maybe that's an error in the book. Like that seems
It could
really
be an error.
strange.
That doesn't sound right. Well, they didn't say who left. The only one I know who leaves is Alec. So somebody leaves. Alec Freeman. I really like him, but he leaves. But I'm gonna talk
Oh,
about that more in a few minutes.
yeah. I mean, they couldn't have do 9 episodes just with the cast that's in this one. I mean, that would be really difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, that doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah, but they launch a beacon. A marker beacon is launched, but the radio communications are down, so the crew are cut off from shadow control. So I guess at least the beacon alerts them to the issue. At Shadow headquarters, Ford instigate sub smash procedures. So that's the name of whatever they do, I guess. I guess if your sub is smashed, this is what
Oh,
you do. I
so
don't know. I'm just making it up. I really don't know what it means.
that's the
It's just
term for the rescue mission then.
I guess so. I guess so. I'm just guessing. Yeah.
It's like rescue Operation Sub Smash, something like that, I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
Yeah, our sub was smashed. Come help us.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, sure. I'll go with it.
And okay, so Freeman flies to skydiver's position. So they're going over with some rescue divers. So even though this is Freeman's last episode, I'm so glad he goes out being a hero, at least leading the rescue divers in any way, in any case. So Alec Freeman is played by George Sewell, and his I don't know why the book says this as if it's important. His hair is brushed from the right instead of the left, as in the previous 16 episodes. That makes all the difference.
That's hilarious. Wow. That's really important information, I gotta say, Jill.
Yep. Well, if you're doing UFO trivia,
Oh, that would be a very hard trivia question. Yeah, I don't think I'd remember that one. Oh, man.
and I can't believe that this is George Sewell's final episode. I don't know if that's his final episode in production or in broadcast. I guess we'll find out because I watch these episodes one by one, and I don't understand why they would get rid of him because Straker is the brain and Alec is the heart. And so, what is Straker going to do now without a heart? I don't understand. I didn't have time to look that up. Maybe we'll look it up later. Why they did that? We'll just get through the episode now, and then I think I want to do some research on why George left the show
That seems really
because
strange.
I can't see anyone else in the cast who could replace him because I love Foster, but they can't use Foster. He doesn't have the same nature. His character's more of kind of a rebel hero kind of
Yeah,
character.
Foster's a bit of a hothead, really. So yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Because I
But
mean, without the fellow that leaves, Straker's just going to be even more extreme because he's already quite extremely logical most of the time.
right, he's or cold and calculating, you might even say sometimes. They even
Right,
say it
right.
in some of the episodes.
Oh yeah, yeah, for
But
sure.
we do see a departure from that in this episode a bit when he does have to comfort people who are hurt. And so on board the submarine, they figure out the damage, and they have air and power to last 8 hours, but only escape hatch 3 is able to be used. But it takes 90 minutes for that to empty, so people can't start leaving the ship until 90 minutes, which is a thing because with the air running out, you want to get people out as quickly as possible so that the air will last just that little bit longer.
It seems
Oh,
like
Franco Walker. Hey, Franco Walker's call just ended. He finally hung up. Welcome back, Franco. Yes, what does it seem like?
I was just going to say it's the escape hatches seem kind of not very useful if you got to wait 90 minutes before you can escape.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. I wonder if that's due to the damage
Possibly.
or if that's a typical thing because I mean, does anybody in the chat know a lot about submarines? Is that typical? Do you usually have to wait 90 minutes to escape?
Maybe it's a submarine thing, but it seems like if you're in serious trouble, like 90 minutes is a long time to wait before you can,
For sure. I
escape the ship.
agree.
Maybe,
Yes,
well,
edge of time.
it's probably for dramatic tension. I'm guessing, Jill, is why they said 90 minutes in the story.
Yeah, but UFO is pretty well, they they sometimes follow science, but not being a submarine expert, I cannot say, but that is a great question. If anybody knows in the chat, or if you're listening to this on a replay, tell me in the comments, is this a typical function of an escape hatch? Does it usually take this long? Please let me know. Edge of Time is here. I want to say hello. Greetings. Greetings to the Edge of Time.
Oh, hi, Edge of Time.
Or yeah, actually he says greetings from the edge of time. Ranko wants to know what he missed. Well, a ship freighter got blown up, and Straker and Foster are over here with the crew trying to find the USO that blew it up. And then the USO shoots at them. And so they've crashed on a rock. And they've got to escape. The submarine's damaged. It can't go back up.
Yeah, Jill and I went over a reading of an alternate opening
Oh yeah, we did that
as well.
too. That was fun.
Yeah, that was good.
And so I do like how Straker involves Chin. Even though he's injured, he probably should just hang out, but oh goodness. And so this is Albatross 25.
25. Wow, they got a lot of those, eh?
Yeah, Alec Freeman to the rescue.
Wasn't the albatross? Wasn't that a sign of bad luck or something?
Albatross? Well, it's a bird that's supposed to carry a burden.
Yeah. Okay, I guess that makes sense in the context of the show then.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, a turbine's completely blown, so they can't recharge the batteries without the reactor. The reactor's down. The reactor on the ship. And so I guess the ship is powered by nuclear reactor. Got
You
8
know,
hours of air
Chin
left.
Chin doesn't seem to be too badly injured at this point in the episode. Oh, just a second. There's a
Yeah,
phone
he
ringing.
seems okay.
I got to mute. My phone's ringing.
Okay, that's fine. I will carry on and I'll catch you up once you get back. And yeah, Franco will listen to our little little radio play at the beginning of this review. And it's only bad luck if you kill it.
I'm back.
Franco Walker knows about the albatross. He says
Oh,
that it is only bad luck if you kill it, so don't kill the albatross.
okay.
I'm not planning on killing any albatross, so this is good news.
Yeah, I didn't have to step away because it was just one of those calls where somebody calls and then they don't say anything on the machine. So it's probably like some
Oh, he's a
telemarketing.
telemarketer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm guessing. Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I've been getting calls like that every day for the last week, it seems, and it's really annoying.
Oh, and there's some good character moments in here too, where some of the characters are comforting other ones because of the situation that they're in. This other guy, oh, I forget his name, who this one is, but he's comforting Nina, telling her he's been in a situation like this before with a bigger boat, bigger crew, 69 men, and he got out of it, and we'll get out of it too. And so it's really sweet.
Well, since this is an episode, it's kind of mostly a bottle show because it mostly takes place in the sub here. Obviously it's
Yes.
not going to be an action episode like many of the other ones are. because there's no battles
Correct.
or anything really. So
Well,
it
no
is about
battles except for the USO blasting things.
yeah, but I mean, just a little bit of action at the start, but then it's pretty much over. And it's basically about the interactions of the crew and how they're dealing with their emotions in a high stress, life threatening situation, right? So that's the strength of
Absolutely.
this episode, I think.
I think that's done pretty well too. Even Straker, you get to see some emotion from him, which Edge of Time says, fun fact. In the 80s, the side you parted your hair on was thought to indicate a sexual preference, gay or straight.
Gosh.
This
Yeah.
stupidity extended to earring placement. You know
Well, I
what?
remember.
I never heard about the hair, but I did
Yeah.
hear about the earring.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. It's well known about the earrings. I can't remember which ear made you straight or gay, but
I think the right one made you gay, the left one didn't.
well, I don't wear earrings anyway, so I don't have to worry.
But I could be misremembering. But yes, that is silly. Now that you
So
think about it, who
so
cares where you put your earrings?
So I part my hair down the middle. I don't know what that says about me.
I don't know. Well, does anybody know what that says about you if you part your hair down the middle? You're I don't know.
Oh boy.
Franco says, I remember the earring thing. Not the hair parting. Yeah, me too. Same here. Filthy Friday. Yeah. Well, you know what? We might get into the filth a little bit later because there's some terrible news. But you'll have to wait a bit for that.
Oh, that sounds ominous.
It is. I hate it.
Oh no.
You might be able to, people in the chat might be able to guess, but I don't know if they can. So they have to plan on what order everybody's going to escape. And so he plans that Lieutenant Barry. I guess maybe this is Lieutenant Barry. I'm not sure. Let me see. I have the list of all of the people in this episode. So Lieutenant Barry is played by. Oh wait, Lieutenant Barry is Nina, so that's not Barry.
Ah, okay.
Oh, I never knew Nina Barry. Okay. Paul Foster, obviously not. That's not Foster. Maybe this is Lieutenant Keith Ford. Keith Alexander. Let's find out. Because I want to know who I'm looking at, don't you? Yeah, nope, that's not him either. He's there? No, that's not him. Waterman is played by Gary Myers. And Waterman is the captain from UFO. Oh, they don't have a picture of him here. Captain Waterman and UFO. Let's get a picture. Yeah, see, I knew that wasn't the captain. So maybe this is Lewis. Paul Maxwell. Is this Paul Maxwell? No, I want to find out. I'm sorry. I
Name
gotta do my
crewman. Unidentified crewman.
Yeah, this one might look like him. I think this might be him.
Oh, so what's the name then?
Lewis, Lieutenant Lewis.
Okay.
Let's see.
Hmm.
Maybe. That tube is pretty narrow, sir. Yeah, so somebody's got to crawl through a tiny tube. So you know Jeffrey's tube, but
Right.
smaller. Much smaller. And so I got distracted trying to look for a person. Now I gotta go back to where I was. I think I had it highlighted. So let's find my highlight. Oh, and hello to the Outcast Creatives. Hey, buddy. Hey. Great episode. I love this show. Oh, you like this episode? That's really cool. Oh, man.
Outcast Creative. I think that's a new
Outcast
person.
Creative, yeah. Yeah, well, yes. I think I've seen. I'm subscribed actually to the Outcast Creative. They do. They actually do real production of cool stuff.
Oh, good. Okay. Wow.
So let me see if I can find them. Hmm. Oh, they're there. Low turnout today. Where is everybody? Says Franco. I don't know. Maybe they all got partied out from yesterday, my 2-year anniversary. Outcast Creative
Oh,
says, I'm
yeah.
a massive Jerry Anderson fan, surrounded by models down here, but I don't have a UFO skydiver and sub. Oh, cool. Oh, wow. That's
Mm,
really awesome.
wow. Well, there are 7
Okay.
watching, it says, so that's not a terrible turnout, I suppose. What do you usually get on your Friday streams? I
Oh,
had
I typically pull around 20.
20. Oh, okay, so that is a low turnout then.
But I'm grateful for anyone who's here to hang out with me, and I'm talking about UFO, so maybe that's the thing. I have no clue.
Well, it could be your stream yesterday because that was what, about 5 hours or something? So
Mhm.
people might
It
have
could
got a
be
little.
people are still watching that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. People could have just, had like 5 hour. Like I know when I go in a long stream, sometimes, it's like I just want to take a break for a while. So
Mhm. So, Lieutenant Lewis and Chin and Foster and Straker will leave through hatch 3 so that they can all be out of the sub in 4.5 hours. So that's the plan. And Canadian actor Paul Maxwell, Lieutenant Lewis, is best known to fans of Jerry Anderson as the voice of Steve Zodiac in Fireball XL5, although
nice.
he also voiced Paul Travers in Thunderbirds.
Oh, really?
Argo. Hmm.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Gee, it seems like Jerry Anderson hired quite a few Canadians. It seems.
Well, the Outcast Creative also says, yes, that's correct. We just interviewed Ron Underwood, director of Tremors and City Slickers. Also, producer Gail Ann Hurd popped on that episode. Producer of Terminator T2 Aliens. Hmm. Well, Outcast Creative, I followed you on Twitter. And if you see who followed you recently, you might find that I have done that. And I wanted to say hello to Penny. Penny
What?
says, Friday is spend hubby's check day. Yeah, no, I love the fact that you come to my show, you tell me you're gonna go shopping, but you leave my stream running. That is so nice. And so yeah, that's what Paul Maxwell does. Well, he does a lot more. He also did Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons. If you know what any of these things are, PvP, please interrupt and tell
Oh,
me. I
I
don't know
love
what
Captain.
Captain.
I love Captain Scarlet. That's one of my favorite Jerry Anderson shows.
Oh, for real.
It's a puppet show too, but unlike Thunderbirds, the puppets had quite large heads, so it wasn't very realistic, anatomically kind of thing. It wasn't, but Captain Scarlet, they actually got the heads uh, at the right size for the bodies, so it was like real humans, and they were very well done. And
Oh,
it was a very cool show because even though it was one of the puppet tune shows or whatever Jerry Anderson called them, it was very realistic. The stories were very gritty, very hard hitting. People died. I mean, for a so-called kids show, it was pretty brutal a lot of the time, and there was tons of action. Basically, the premise was there's a team investigating. I guess it was probably Mars or something,
oh,
and
that does sound fun.
yeah,
Oh
and
man,
they're in their
I'm into
vehicle
that.
and they see like a city, right? It's all glowing and they panic and they think they're going to be attacked for some reason. So they blow the city up and then the Martians or whatever, they're called the Mysterons, by the way, in the show. So the Mysterons get, pretty upset, of course, and they
Uh-huh.
basically, attack the ship and basically it's like I can't remember. I haven't watched
Well,
the
that's
first
okay.
episode in a
That's
long time.
okay. You don't have to remember everything about the show, but it's very clear that you've seen it, and
Yeah.
it sounds cool.
Well, basically,
He
Captain
also
Scarlet ends up being immortal, so even when he dies, he comes back to life. So it's quite an interesting show.
Oh, that's okay. I think someone has talked to me about this show before because I remember the immortal part, and I'm a bit confused about the dynamics or the mechanics of that.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's okay. Also, he was in. So we're talking about Paul Maxwell. He was also in Blood of Dracula, How to Make a Monster, and then he was also those are the movies. And for TV, he was also on Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Dragnet, and Sea Hunt. Then he went on to Danger Man, Man of the
Oh,
War, D,
oh, Danger
and the
Man. Wow, that's Patrick McGowan's show before he did The Prisoner.
oh yeah, I feel like I hear that they're kind of connected in some way. In that
Some
way.
people theorize that Drake and Danger Man. I believe there's an episode of The Prisoner where someone refers to him as Drake. So there's a lot of fans that think it is the same character in both
Well,
series.
there you go. I like fan theories.
Yeah.
The Sentimental Agent. He last appeared in The Baron, The Saint, The Champions, Randall, and Hopkirk Deceased.
Oh, that was a good
Out.
show too.
Oh, cool. Out of the Unknown, The Adventurer, and Return of the Saint.
Yeah, the
Wow, he does a
round
lot of. He did a lot of work.
he was a very busy actor. It sounds like extensive career. Uh,
He was even. Go ahead.
I was just going to say Randall and Hopkirk. The show is also sometimes titled "My Partner, the Ghost," because in the first episode, there's like there's like a detective team. There's like two guys, and one of them ends up getting killed in the first episode. But he
Oh
actually
no.
he comes back as a ghost to help his partner. So it's kind of like
Ooh.
a fantasy detective combination show. And it's actually really good too. So but,
Oh,
the
that's
The
fun.
British were good at that kind of thing, like The Saint too. The Saint is basically like like a man for hire. He, basically takes on these, jobs and helps people, that need help, right? So he's a good
Yeah.
guy, but he's kinda like a mercenary for hire kind of thing too, right? So,
Hmm.
yeah,
Well described. Yes, I'm just exploring these
yeah.
UK shows for the first time. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, by the
The
way, there's a
Outcast Creative. Oh yeah.
the guy playing the Saint is, someone you might have heard of, Roger Moore,
Oh, okay. Very
who
cool.
went on to do James Bond, of course.
Yeah, that's going to be mentioned a few times today. The Outcast Creative says I have a diecast of Zero X and Spectrum Car right beside me.
Oh, cool.
Well, what show is that from?
Spectrum, that's Captain Scarlet.
Captain Scarlet. Very
Yeah,
great.
because
Captain Scarlet was very violent, he also says,
Oh, very. And the reason it's called Spectrum, Jill,
and
is
scary.
the agents all are designated by colors. Like there's, Captain Green, Captain Scarlet, Captain Blue. Captain Black is like the bad, literally the bad guy, because he gets mind controlled by the Mysterons, so he kind of plots against Spectrum. So
Oh,
yeah, there's a lot of
okay.
cool
I could see that
dynamics.
how that could be fun if you could figure out how to get him not brainwashed,
Oh
and you
yeah,
could have an episode where he's good.
and they have lady pilots that fly like there's like three interceptor planes, I think it is, and they like launch and they can go and they have they can attack stuff, and the lady pilots are really good, really good pilots. So it's
Mhm.
kind of cool that way too.
Oh, well, that is a thing for Jerry Anderson. He really likes the ladies being pilots and navigators, communication officers. I really like Jerry Anderson.
Yeah,
Matt
yeah,
G, hello. Hello to Matt G. Taylor Swift, greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU.
right there,
He
so
says, hello. Great to see you, Matt G. Franco Walker says, I loved the champions and Randall and Hopkirk deceased. Hmm. Penny, he says to us, she says, Penny says, just got home, unloaded groceries, and then off to a haircut. All right. Hey, that's great.
I just posted in the private chat the wiki page for Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons. if you want to
Well,
check
there
it
you
out
go.
later.
Okay. Very cool. Oops. All right, Captain Scarlet. That's great. Oh no, where did my comments go? Zero X is from Thunderbirds the movie and also makes an appearance in Captain Scarlet. And the Angels, Interceptors, Pilots, and Supermodels, the best mix ever. Edutime says, you might enjoy the channel Mataline 1967. He creates wish list model art. Last episode featured. What if Airfix made a model of the war rocket Ajax from Flash Gordon? He references Jerry Anderson. Franco Walker says, please subscribe, share, hit the like, and select live chat. Yes, Franco Walker, I am 7 subscribers away from 666. And should I reach that, should I reach that number before next Friday, we're going to do something special. I don't know what yet.
Oh. Well, once you hit 666, it'll definitely be a devilishly good time, Jill.
Yeah, that is the goal. But okay, so Paul Maxwell did so much stuff. I'm still not done talking about it. He
Oh,
was also in the Pink Panther Strikes Again
oh, jeez.
from 1976, A Bridge Too Far, and even Aliens from 1986. Also, Indiana
Wow,
Jones and the Last Crusade, and he passed away in 1991
really?
at age 70.
Hmm.
And Tiger Stripe says, "How beastly." You know, Tiger Stripes, you recommended a movie to us to do for the 666 show, and I forget what it was. I don't know if you remember what you recommended. And Penny says, I pray you blow past that number. But you know what? I don't mind doing that, but I wanted to stay on 666 long enough to grab a screenshot. I need the screenshot. Prophecy. Thank you, Tiger Stripes. I couldn't remember. I gotta type that down now. Prophecy. Because I think
Oh,
that's what I want to do. I'm not sure yet.
by the way, Jill, I just put a link in the private. There is a whole, all the Captain Scarlet episodes are on here if you want to check any of them out at some point. So there's a link to the channel, to the playlist the channel has. Yeah, they look like they're complete too, which is cool.
Wow, the full episodes?
Full
That's pretty
episodes.
neat.
Yeah, they're a little over 25 minutes, most of them. The first one,
Oh,
it looks
wait.
like it's actually 27 minutes long.
That's the wrong. That's the. I put the wrong link in the chat. Actually, that one. Strike that. It's the prophecy that I recommended, not prophecy. You know what? I'm glad you made the distinction because I might make a mistake with that. The that can change the whole movie. And so you're forgetting one thing, Lieutenant. The fewer people there are here, the more air there'll be for the rest of us, is essentially what he says. And so Lieutenant Barry is going to use the crash dive tube. It's supposed to be the safest way out. Of course, we see it's not quite the case. Lieutenant Chin will follow you. Okay, so he's talking about not he's not going to go in the tube. He's going out the other way. He's going through the hatch. And then Colonel Foster, Lewis, Chin, and then Foster in that order. And she says she used it during training, Nina said, so she should have no problem. Except for the problem becomes a technical problem. Oh, God. Yeah, look at that tiny tube.
Yeah, that's where it starts. I almost feel claustrophobic at this point when she starts crawling up this tube. Like, it's
Like,
scary.
who's supposed to be able to use this besides her?
Well, that's it. Like, can you see Chin trying to climb up there?
No,
It never fit.
he'd get stuck.
He'd be stuck. Yeah. Oh,
So
okay.
so
Yeah.
the actress for Nina Barry is Dolores Mantes, and she recalls this. So this is her. I remember receiving the script for Sub Smash, and I took one look at it, and my brain sort of cut out. I thought, they're going to put me in a submarine and take me under the sea? I was going to say, no way, baby. But then I got myself together and realized that, of course, we were just going to shoot it on a set in the studio. So I just got myself in the right frame of mind and kept telling myself that we were only acting, but it was difficult at times. I had a lot of help from good people like Ed and George. The worst bit was the scene where I had to crawl through a missile tube. Oh, that's what it is. That's why the way is so small, is because it's not meant for people. It's meant for a missile.
So where's the missiles? Like, do they have them stored in another room?
I don't know. Okay, so yeah, I had no idea what this tube was because it's
Yeah.
totally useless
Yeah, I didn't
for
realize
not
it was
for the whole rest of the crew cannot fit through this thing.
yeah, I didn't realize it was a missile tube. Gosh.
Then that makes more sense. That's why it's so tiny. They don't say like I guess we're supposed to just know because
What
we're
I don't
supposed to be smart.
what I don't understand is why put her in the tube and all the rest of them go out through the regular escape hatches, like,
Because of the time, you have to wait 90 minutes to
oh,
get
so
through, like 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 90
so the
minutes. And
air yeah, okay.
this way we get somebody out quicker, but they can only use it once. But it doesn't matter if they can only use it once. She's the only one that can fit.
That makes sense.
Like like if even though Straker's skinny, I think he's too broad for it. Because they hadn't designed the set with enough room. Okay, so she's continuing here. I had to crawl through a missile tube because they hadn't designed the set with enough room for me to get in there with oxygen tanks on my back. When I got in there, it was really scary. It was very tight, and I was trying not to panic. But then I found that I just couldn't move. The tanks on my back had gotten wedged, and I was stuck. I can tell you, I didn't have to do much acting in that scene. It was all for real.
Well, it's amazingly dangerous when you think about the situation. Like they built the set that actually was like a narrow tube, and it's like that's kind of dangerous for for the actor, right? Like, man.
Yeah, I guess you could say there were certain risks that were taken back then in 60s, 70s television
Yeah,
that you
like
might not see today.
what if she really had got stuck and she couldn't get out? Like, how would they get her out of there?
Well, I guess you're gonna have to tear up the set because she's more
Well,
important than the
yeah,
production.
but gee, that's pretty scary to actually think about. Like, that's actually really scary, not just like acting story scary. That's like reality scary.
Yeah, so I did think her acting was good in this episode, so she's
Actually,
revealing
though,
here it
how did
wasn't
they get?
acting.
How did they film her here in these scenes?
Um, well, your guess is as good as mine, I don't know.
Well, obviously,
I guess,
there's
like, they have to have some kind of camera this way. Well, but I don't know. I'm not
actually,
there.
I think I'm figuring it out now. The
Okay, tell me.
opening shot when she first enters the tube, that's like real, right? But then
Mhm.
they cut away and edit, and this is obviously being filmed with a cutaway wall. Like there's a part of the set cut out so the camera can film her. So I'm guessing they had like half a tube,
Yeah,
that you
and
see.
that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense if that was what my imagination was saying, is that this
Yeah,
wasn't a complete tube.
so
But
she'd be
the
safe.
thing that goes against that is that we do see the tube and it does seem to be enclosed, and she did have a terrible time of it. And she had to experience that's the weird thing, is that she had to experience the claustrophobia instead of Straker. Straker was the one who they set up with this fear, and she's the one who has to deal with his fear. Kind of
Yeah,
strange.
it is kind of odd. Yeah.
Um, but that's a good guess. I really do. I think something like that. Like there's some kind of holes in this thing. So because she has to be able to breathe also.
Well, yeah.
And so Straker's trying to, hey, he's trying to make Chin feel better. Keep your chin up, Chin. He didn't say that. I just said it.
I'm glad he didn't say that. That would have been hilarious. Oh boy. Oh, but Chin definitely must have like a brain hemorrhage or something happening because he's getting deteriorating all through the episode, right?
He does. He does. Yes, he's about to have a tantrum, a tragic tantrum in a minute.
Right, right, yeah.
So about the prophecy, it's available for free to watch on Tubi. Okay, so when we review that, everybody should know if you have Tubi, or if you can pretend you're in a region in which Tubi will allow you to watch this for free.
Yeah, I can watch
That's
Tubi.
how to watch it.
So is this
And
a film you're going to cover then, Jill?
it's possible. I'm
Oh,
I'm thinking it's either between the prophecy or the Devil's Due from the Next Generation.
oh, okay.
Edge of Time says Tiger Stripes. Which of those movies had the self deletion guy listening to a children's record? Is that prophecy? Hmm.
No, that sounds a
That
bit
sounds different.
bizarre.
I don't know. It's a torpedo tube. Torpedoes away.
Okay, that makes more sense then. Yeah.
The prophecy began that way, and then it's off and running. I never actually seen prophecy, but I think that one involves a deranged bear.
Deranged bear.
Oh,
Wow.
it must have been built to scale, says Franco. Edge of Time says, I can't remember, but I thought on Archangel they used the recently deceased man as a servant. You're spoiling the film now. No, that's okay. I don't mind. Some folks consider that a challenge. Then, okay, so he's trying to make Chin feel better, but the air is starting to get lower and lower as the crew try to escape. But the good news is Lewis gets out. And okay, so that is Lewis after all. And Alec is there. So Alec is there to make Ed feel just a little bit better. His friend is there to save them. Lewis is fine. But Nina is not fine. So they're going to look for her. She needs help. And well, so what happens to Chin is he goes completely bonkers.
Yeah.
He's hurt and he becomes basically delirious, and he attacks everybody. He doesn't know what he's doing. Very unfortunately, he does
And
a great job
I love how the
as
control
this
panels
actor.
just explode if you pound on them in any way at all.
Mhm. Yes,
It's like they're very fragile.
that's pretty great. Well, it's not great though. It's not great at all for Lieutenant Chin because he gets electrocuted and he falls and does not survive his fall. So he's the red shirt for this episode.
I did find it funny though with the line coming up when Straker goes, "He's out of it." And at first I'm thinking he meant like he's out of it, like, like he's out of his mind. And then I realized, oh no, he's actually literally out of it because he's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, usually out of it means you're just passed out,
Exactly. I thought
but in this case,
that
it
line
means
was
you're
kind of
dead.
goofy, I thought.
Well, so this is kind of funny because his name is Lieutenant Chin, but the actor's name is named Anthony Chin. So
Wow.
they're both named Chin, except the actor's name is spelled with two N's instead of one.
Ah, okay.
And
Two
he
ends
was
makes more
seen.
sense.
He was before. He was also seen in Alien in the Square as the. Oh, okay. He was in another UFO episode. He was the UFO. He was the alien and the UFO ship in the Square Triangle. And
Oh,
before
really?
that, he was in Doppelganger, and he played Chino. And oh, what is that? That's not. I don't know what that is. The first season of the Pror. That's not right. I don't know what that is.
First season of what?
Sorry, that didn't. The information did not transfer correctly, so I don't know what it is.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can find it. Anthony Chin as Chino, and he played Chino. Hmm. Well, I'd have to. I'd have to look at his credits here. Oh, I'd have to look at more credits because that didn't show it. In Venice, like Rome, Milan turned the spiral of crime. Oh, the Protectors. He played Chino in the
Protectors.
Protectors.
That's
That's it.
familiar. I'd have to look that up, but I think I've never seen that show, but I do remember hearing about it.
And then he was also in Doctor No,
Okay.
Goldfinger, You
Gold.
Only Live Twice.
Wow.
So James Bond, obviously.
Oh,
Rollerball.
the Protectors. I know what I'm thinking of. I just looked it up on the wiki. Um, it was an action adventure crime thriller, and guess who the starring actor was?
No.
I think you'll really like this. It starred Robert Vaughn from The Man from Uncle.
Oh, yeah, I do really like that. That's so cool. So it's
Yeah,
got Solo.
it was filmed in England too, I believe, on location. I think a lot of the time, so that's pretty cool too.
Oh, for sure. So that's not the end of Chin's appearances. He was also in the Pink Panther Strikes Again. So we've got two actors from
Wow.
that movie in this episode. Oh, he was also in Revenge of the Pink Panther, which was another sequel for that franchise. Raiders
Oh,
of
that
the
was
Lost
yeah.
Ark. So that's the second reference to
Really?
Indiana Jones today.
Wow.
Hmm.
He did a lot of stuff. Gosh.
He did. He did lots of stuff I've actually kind of heard of or
And
actually seen.
well, major films too. Like we're talking all pretty big films there that you
That's
just
not
read.
everything
You know.
either. High Road to
Wow.
China, then
Wow.
also A View to a Kill,
Hey, James Bond again.
and The Fifth Element. That's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, The Fifth Element. That's a pretty strange film.
So I don't know. Have we seen him yet? Because he's also in episodes of The Avengers.
Oh, wow. I wonder which ones. Gosh, it's too bad it doesn't specify the episodes.
No,
I don't remember
no.
him in the Avengers, but I guess if I saw him, I'd recognize him. But
Yeah. Hey, hello to the Reluctant Dragon. Good to see you.
oh, I'm
Oh,
Reluctant
and
Dragon.
Tiger Stripe is going to be back later. All right. Good to know. The costumes and gear were often low budget, but the writing on the show was generally top notch. Ironically, not so much this episode. I think it was a good episode. Maybe there were a couple of profane statements, but you're right, most of the dialogue was not it was just matter of fact. It just told you what you needed to know to get through the story, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought
And
it was a good episode,
it,
but definitely far from my favorite episodes of
it
the series. You know.
I think it was good, but it was, I guess, a little threadbare, but I enjoyed
Yeah,
it quite a
I
bit.
think I think the premise was what kind of held it back because obviously it is basically a bottle show, and the script basically you're trapped. You got a very almost no action really in the episode, so
Yeah,
it does have a slow pace is what I found while watching it, which kind of hurt it a bit. Yeah, if that makes any sense.
it didn't, well, yeah, it would make any sense. It would make sense because there's not a ton of dialogue and there's, like you said, there's not a ton of action, but I don't feel the time really
Hmm.
because I'm interested. It makes it more tense for me.
Oh, it added to the suspense and the tension for sure. Like I felt claustrophobic watching it, which is weird
Hmm.
because I don't think I'm generally claustrophobic, but not like I crawl around, up missile tubes or anything. But
Yeah, no, me neither. Chin is all over British productions of the 60s through the 80s. Yeah,
Wow.
like Bert Kwok.
Bert Kwok was in an Avengers episode. Remember, Jill? I think
Oh,
that was the ones the Cybernaut one.
oh, I like that episode. We covered that on this channel one time.
Yeah, yeah. That
Yeah,
was
it
yeah,
was your supposed last episode.
yeah. Well, it was for quite a while. Remember, I was gone for
Oh
many, many
yeah.
months.
Oh yeah, I guess you're
So,
right.
but yeah, Bert Kwok was in. He was in a scene as a businessman in an office that Steed went to see for some reason, I believe. But other than that, I don't remember the scene that well. So,
Well, that's good enough. Well then. Hmm. So,
and now the air is getting thin, and they're starting to feel it.
hmm
Well, at least Chin won't be
well,
taking up the air
oh
supply.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
That should buy him an extra hour or something, you would think, you know?
For sure. I think so. I think you're right. Well, that's the way Ed Straker presents it. So you're right.
That's the most
This
profound
is
line for me.
I think this is one of the better lines in the episode, definitely for sure. I think do I
It's
have
yeah. It's
no.
completely true. As you get
Usually I try to
older,
have the script up.
yeah, a very profound line though, because it's totally true. At least for me, it is.
The
Uh,
the older you get, the more precious life becomes.
and there's another
Yeah,
follow-up line I think that's really good as well.
right. And that's why I was going to bring up the show, but I don't have my script. I usually have the script ready.
Ah,
Like so I can step through it. So I do want to grab that. See. Where is it? So this might take just a second.
okay, no worries. Oh, by the way, while you're doing that, I just want to mention that I put a link in the wiki link for the Protectors TV series if you want to check that out.
Okay. More precious. Precious? No, because these are out of order. So it's this one. Okay, how do you mean? The older you get, the more precious life becomes. You become aware of what life is. That's the whole line.
Yeah, but it's true. It's like you really start to appreciate things more. Well, if you're a thoughtful person, anyway. I mean, some people go through life and they don't seem to ever learn anything. But if you're, if you're half a half thoughtful person, at least you do start to realize a lot of the oh gosh aspects of life. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. Well, it depends on how aware you are of your mortality, and that's something that you think about. And
Oh
some
yeah,
people don't really appreciate being alive until they realize there's not too much of it left.
yeah, yeah. That's so true. It gets a little scary after a while when you realize most of your life is behind you, not ahead of you. So it's like, yep. Oh, I love this cheap air gauge, by the way. I think it looks so
Yeah,
cool.
it's awesome. Well, yeah, and it is it's a good visual reference to how close to death everybody is.
Yeah, I think it's funny though. It's like full, empty. That made me laugh actually.
Yeah, so the hatch 3 finally empties and Foster is the next one to use it, but um once he leaves, so he's kind of hesitant to leave obviously, but he does it. And meanwhile, Nina uh Nina realizes she's not getting out. Whatever was supposed to happen to allow her to escape did not happen. So the hatch didn't blow. So she stuck in the tube, so she's taken off all of her equipment.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. She's in a bad situation here.
She realizes she has to go back the other way and hope somebody else is still there because she's stuck and she's gonna run out of air herself.
Oh yeah, that was really scary. Like
Hmm
the scenes with her in the tube were, I found it actually really disturbing and quite
It was,
scary. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Well, she said it was actually scary. It wasn't just pretend scary. She didn't have to act at all.
yeah, Yeah, well, it felt real too. I gotta
Mhm.
say.
Then Alec has to figure out a way to get that submarine out of there, and they think they need heavy lifting gear, so that's the idea. Mm.
Oh, I shouldn't laugh, I know, but
Oh,
yeah, it just seems weird that metallic thing they shrouded him in. It's like, okay, okay.
mhm. But okay, so what happens after Foster escapes is that the pumps completely fail, and so Straker cannot use the escape hatch again. It's dead. So
And
he's stuck.
yeah, Straker starts losing his marbles here too a little bit.
Oh yeah, he starts to hallucinate. He hallucinates some flashbacks from other episodes. That's his son when he was born. And there's Straker seeing his son for the first time, but unfortunately, when his son was 10 or so, I think he gets hit by a car, and in that episode, he dies, and it's a really sad episode. And this is a sad moment.
I like how they
Seeing this again,
reference, they referenced the earlier episode. Like I thought that was a really intelligent choice, script wise to throw this in at the end because it added a lot of drama to the episode. Really.
yeah. But the weird thing is, some people hadn't seen these episodes yet because
Oh no.
during the first broadcast of this episode, Confetti Check A-OK had not been shown before this episode. So and it was even though it
Oh,
was produced before, it was not broadcast before.
that's bad. That's really
And
bad.
some people and some people in a certain region also hadn't seen a question of priorities either.
That
So
is
in that
bad.
case,
That would be very confusing. Yeah.
it would be, but I guess you could infer that this is his life flashing before his eyes because he's just hallucinating,
True. True.
thinking he's gonna die. But what saves him from this torture, his self-torture here, is that he hears tapping sounds coming from the crash dive tube, and he finds Nina collapsed inside there. There's Nina.
Yeah, he finally figures out something's gone wrong.
And I like this episode is so good because you see more emotion from some of the crew that seem to hide it more of the time, especially with Straker. And
That's true. Yeah.
and there's also angles to show the damage of the ship. So, according to the audio commentary by Ed Bishop, recorded in 2002, this skydiver was built to rotate. So
Oh, really?
this is different from Voyage of the Bottom of the Sea, where the corridors go on forever. So as a result, all the shots when skydiver is disabled, sitting on the bottom at a 45-degree angle, were done for real.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. So that's how they did the angles. So there you go.
Wow.
Oh, here we go. There weren't Reluctant Dragon says there weren't all that many Chinese actors in Europe in the 60s. To make 55 days at parking, the producers had to hire the staff of nearly every Chinese restaurant in Spain and France,
Oh, by the
especially.
by the way, it's 55 days at Peking, I think, Jill. Just wanted to.
Oh, 55 days at Peking. I don't know why I said parking. What's the matter with me? Thank you. 55
You're
days
welcome.
at Peking.
Yeah, Peking, I think is the way.
Hmm.
It's a city. Oh,
Oh,
gorilla.
Gorilla's here, but he can't listen. His headphones are dead. Oh, well,
Oh
thank you
no.
for checking in the chat, though. Anyway, Gorilla, good to see you. Hope your day's going okay, but I guess you can't respond to it.
Oh boy.
Michael Billington plays the Russian killed by James Bond in the teaser scene of The Spy Who Loves Me.
Oh really? Hmm.
Yeah, that's what the Reluctant Dragon tells us. Oxygen deprivation. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That is the reason for the hallucination. Very good. Nina's fit. Yeah, she's gorgeous. But yeah, she's been tortured in this episode. Peking is now referred to as Beijing. Thank you. The reluctant dragon. The reluctant dragon knows his history. Edge of Time says even Rocky had a montage. Even Rocky had a montage. Montage. See a lot of things happening at once. Remind everyone what's going on. Okay, so Nina and Strakers they're about to die. And they're gonna die together. They think they're gonna die together. And they're, of course, as Franco says, they're experiencing oxygen deprivation. I think it's a combination of the oxygen deprivation and the imminent feelings of death. That is creating the drama in this episode. This is how we started the episode when we did the deleted scene. But here we are at that deleted scene, now pushed to the end of the episode.
I think it makes more sense to have it at the end, actually, Jill, because I think it does add to the suspense. If you saw this right at the start, it'd be like you kind of know how it ended, right? Which
Oh, I meant to look this up earlier. Yes, you're right. I agree. So I meant to look up this quote earlier. I don't know what it's from, but I realized it must be a quote of something. To be
okay.
turned into corruption. Corruption. Nope, that's the wrong one. Returned to corruption, waiting for the day of resurrection, when the sea shall give up her dead.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm going to look that up and see what happens when I do that into my information retrieval device.
I never heard it described that way before.
It's okay, so this quote comes from the Bible, from Revelation.
Makes sense.
There you go. I knew it was from something.
Yeah, like in
And
the Bible, I think corruption has a different meaning than the way we generally think about the word. If you know what I mean, Jill.
mhm. Yeah, and that was interesting. That was an interesting word to use
Hmm.
for me
Yeah,
too.
there's some good lines in this episode for sure.
And well, they think I guess he passes out thinking that they died or something. But we cut to the next scene where everybody's fine. Of course. We got to have
Yeah,
another episode.
I found this a bit wonky. A bit of a wonky way to end the episode, actually. I don't know what you thought about it, Jill, but it's like they're ready to die, and then all of a sudden they're all laughing up at the hospital. It's like, ha 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 ha,
I
everything's
can't believe you
wonderful.
did that.
It felt so weird the first time I
Well,
saw this.
cuz instead of showing us how they rescued them, they just tell us.
Yeah, it's like the writers that kind of wrote themselves into a corner, and they were running out of minutes. Like I think there's like what 2 minutes left at this point.
Well,
So
and
they're
I
like,
guess
oh,
they
the
were
heck
just
with it. You know,
yeah, I
let's
guess
just
they were just so happy to save money that they were like, let's save some more money. We don't have to show this rescue.
yeah.
Raymond just explains how he detonated the explosives to lift the sub off the ledge. So that's what the explosion was. So we see the explosion, but not what happens. Or we hear the explosion, but we don't even see what happens. So the
Yeah.
explosion lifts the submarine off the ledge, and it allows the divers to enter the skydriver through the missile tube and rescue them. So I guess the divers are
Yeah.
small enough to get through the missile tube.
Yeah, that
Really?
doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it actually?
No. No.
The divers they look pretty big when I saw them in the earlier scenes, so
Hmm. I'm sorry, sir. No smoking. Oh yeah, I have a clip for that. Don't I?
No more cigarettes for you.
Oh, it should have said cigars. No more cigars for you.
yeah. Oh well.
So Ed Bishop says about this episode. I do suffer, but very badly from claustrophobia, but not anywhere near as badly as Dolores. She was really in a terrible state on Subsmash. She had to crawl through a missile tube, which was bad news. She was really on edge about that. The writer Alan Fennell had actually written that episode because he knew of my claustrophobia, Mrs. Ed Bishop, although I actually didn't find the set oppressive in any way. The claustrophobia has bothered me a couple of times in films, though.
Huh.
In 2001, A Space Odyssey, I was the pilot of this spaceship, and there was a scene where the elevator opens and I step out. But before waiting for the shot to start, I was really getting panicky. There was nothing Mickey Mouse about Kubrick's set. Every single thing worked, and this thing actually locked.
Oh, wow.
It didn't get out until I pressed the button. So it was like being in a real elevator. You don't get out until the mechanism lets you out. So I was getting really quite bad on that. But Subsmash didn't really bother me. There you go. That's all I've got on this episode. What do you think about it? Oh, look, she's so happy. I'm so happy Nina's happy.
I don't know how to rate this one, really. I have mixed feelings about it, which you
Uh,
might have noticed.
yeah, no, that's
you know.
fine. Yeah, the ending kind of doesn't make too much sense, but I enjoyed it. I love submarine episodes. I love when a crew has to get together to learn how to survive, and they support one another and they come up with a plan and they implement it, and I think that's great. And so this is good enough for an A minus for me.
Yeah.
But if you rate it lower, that's all right.
So you
I
gave
also
her what?
like
A minus, did you say?
yes.
I'll go a grade lower. I think I'll give it a B minus. I like it. You know, it's not terrible, but there's other
Mhm.
episodes I find a lot more entertaining in the series. So that drops it down a bit. Still a good
That's fair
episode though.
enough.
I just found the pacing, I guess, was the main thing that worked against my enjoyment of the episode. But of course, I mean, it had to be paced that way because of the story, so I get it, right? But just wasn't
Right.
my cup of tea, so to speak, you know?
I'm a very patient person, so that might be why I enjoy it more.
Oh, okay. You do seem to be a very patient person, I must say, Jill.
Just so Ed Bishop, Straker. This is another line in this episode I like. That's what life's all about, I guess. The things we never say, and so
Yeah, that
they
was a
kind
good
of they
line.
kind of talk vaguely about their feelings, but
Yeah.
not really because they're professionals. And
Well,
then
you know,
that's it.
it's very true, isn't it? It's like sometimes it's not what you say, it's what you don't say that actually, you know, maybe makes a situation better. Because we've all
Hmm.
been in situations where we want to say something and we think about it, we run it through our mind quickly, and it's like, maybe I better just keep my mouth shut.
Hmm.
Because, you know, I mean, you've probably been in a few of those situations, I would imagine, at some point.
I definitely, or you think back on a situation and you consider something you should have said, and you're like, "Damn, that would have been a much better response than how I
Oh,
handled it."
oh yeah, that's happened to me a lot of times. Yeah. But sometimes, you know, it's like, you know, maybe, you know, someone is like a friend and you kind of maybe tell a little white lie because you don't want to hurt their feelings about something in particular, you know? So, you know, sometimes I guess you avoid sometimes saying things because you don't want to appear too harsh, I guess would be the word, is what I'm
It-
trying to think of.
yeah. Well, it's like Buckaroo Banzai says, "There's no need to be mean."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It amazes me how sometimes, you know, how mean people can be. It's kind of sad, really. I never have understood that, really. You know.
Well, there's a difference though between being mean and just being blunt. And some people are just blunt and they just tell it like it is, and then
Not,
sometimes people think that that's a bit insensitive, but that's just their
yeah.
character. So
I
they're
think,
not
yeah.
necessarily trying. They just don't
No,
have that discretion.
I think it's about intention, isn't it, Jill? Like, I don't, I can understand blunt. I don't understand
Hmm.
mean, right? You know.
Right. There's a difference.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a pretty
Montage.
interesting episode.
It's one of my favorite South Park songs. The
Which
sports
one?
training,
Oh,
it's everybody, yeah, people are singing the sports training montage.
Oh, gee, I don't
I
think I've
can't,
seen that.
I can just recite it. Well, yeah, so yeah, it's a sports training montage. You show a lot of things happen at once to remind everyone what's going on. What's going on? Every shot shows a little improvement, and so it won't take too long, and that's called a montage. Montage. Even Rocky had a montage. So anytime that you wanna go from a beginner to a pro, you need a montage.
That's funny.
And finally, always fade out in a montage. If you fade out, it seems like more time has passed in a montage.
Oh boy, that is good. That is good. That's well
Uh,
written.
it is Matt Stone and Trey Parker, they're amazing. Franco Walker says the montage song is from Team America. They also play it in South Park when Stan is trying to learn how to ski and save the ski resort or something.
Yeah,
But
South Park. And that's
but Stan, he just knows how to ski like a kid, but it's fun.
South Park's still going, isn't it? I guess.
It is.
Oh, it's been on ages, that show. Wow.
It is. It has like 26 seasons.
Oh, oh boy. Wow, that's a lot.
Oh, and also, the Reluctant Dragon says those words are said in the Anglican burial
Uh,
at
I think
sea ceremony.
I think it's Anglican. Boy, sometimes I have a hard time pronouncing certain words, but
Thank you,
that's
PvP.
yeah, it's like, um it's like, Catholics or Protestants or it's that kind of thing, right? Anglicans.
Franco Walker
I
says,
believe.
imagine Franco Walker says, imagine that. We nearly all died horribly. Ha 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 ha. What a way to go. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, that's this episode.
That was very jarring. Yeah, very jarring edit. It's like, from doom to happy, happy time.
Mhm. Oh, also subscribe to Doomcock. I'm sure you guys are already Overlord DVD. He's going to stream tonight. He streams every night for Friday Night Frolics. If you enjoy that kind of stuff, if you don't, that's all right too. I don't have that filter. It's got me in a lot of trouble. Says Franco. Yeah, I say things before I thought about it. Yeah, I I used to be that way, but I'm more capable of tempering what I say now. I couldn't wait for release. I went to a sneak preview of that film. Nice.
Wow.
Oh, I've not seen South Park since about season 5, says Franco. Well, you've seen enough. South Park's amazing, but I guess maybe I could curate some episodes for you. I've been thinking of doing that sometime because there's some great classics after season 5. But you don't have to see everything. There is, like PvP said, they've been going on forever, so there's a lot,
There is
lot to.
quite a bit of repetition. It's like The Simpsons. Like I gave up on
Oh
that
no,
show a
it's not like
long
The
time ago.
Simpsons. For
No, no,
fuck's
no.
sake, it's not as bad as The Simpsons.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's been going on
Oh, there
forever
you go,
and
correct.
ever and ever, and they start recycling everything after a while at a certain point, right? Because they got to run out of ideas eventually.
Actually,
Like,
that's where what South Park does is they switch around the characters that they focus on. So for a while you care about one character and then they switch to another one. So that's how they
oh,
stay fresh.
well, that's okay then.
Um
Yeah.
yeah, I think it still works in some level. It's not as funny as it used to be, but it still says something. They still have something to say.
Are they still killing Kenny every episode, pretty much?
No, not all the time.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes. It's not every episode anymore.
Oh man.
Well, there was a whole thing about that. Anyhow.
Oh, was there? Oh,
Well
I didn't know that.
well, no, it's kinda silly because I guess Kenny grows really fast because Kenny dies, and then his mom has another baby and names him Kenny.
His mom
And
must be getting really tired at a certain point in life, right? Like having kid after kid after kid. Like,
then
wow.
all named Kenny, all looking exactly the same.
Yeah, it's a bit
So
absurd,
it
isn't
doesn't
it?
make it doesn't make any sense, of course. But a lot it's a comedy, so it doesn't. It's not most of South Park doesn't make sense, and that's part of the joke.
Yeah, true,
The
true.
Reluctant Dragon says past season 10 it lost something. Yeah, I'd say yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they stopped killing Kenny ages ago.
Okay, well, I'll show you how long I haven't watched that show now.
Mhm. Yeah, that's the weird thing about South Parks. The Outcast Creative points out they're doing more one-off specials than seasons now, which is good because the recent quality is a game standard for them, right?
Oh, that's good.
And so yeah, I'm glad that they do what they think they can do well, rather than just putting out crap. But I also agree with the idea that it lost something. I'm not sure what. I think it's because they spend, like, just a week making an episode. They do it all in 7 days when they were doing lots of episodes.
Yeah, it's like Simpsons. The first few seasons I actually thought were pretty good when it seemed more counterculture and it was just plain weird a lot of the time, the early stuff, right? And there were some
Mhm.
really hilarious
Yeah, it's fun.
episodes. And then a certain point after maybe I think maybe 3 or 4 seasons, it started to lose its edge. And they kind of changed the look of the show a little bit because if you go back and watch the early episodes, the characters look a little different actually. So yeah,
Yeah.
and then
I get about up to season 13 before I stop watching on a
oh,
recent rewatch.
okay. Yeah, when they started bringing celebrity guest stars and like real life people, that to me that just
I didn't
lost
mind
its
some of that.
edge. Yeah, but it was like real world then, right? It wasn't like, the Simpsons world anymore. It was like our world, which
Well, they
seemed
always
kind of
did.
strange.
They always did pop culture references, so I didn't I wasn't bothering too much by cameos.
Yeah, I guess. I
It
don't
was
know.
just the writing and the jokes that went down
Well, that
mostly.
too. Yeah, yeah. True, true. Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
So give me just a second here.
No worries. Actually, I'm going to step away for a minute because I need to take my pills.
Okay.
If you don't
All
mind. So
right.
I'll be
No,
back
I
in
don't
maybe
mind.
3 minutes or something like that. So I'll be back quick.
Oh, for sure. Take your time. The Reluctant Dragon binge watched season 20 and only laughed twice. Seems like Matt and Trey weren't doing much of the writing, and that's possible too. They do have a staff, and, and so that's a thing that happens in some cases. I don't remember how much I enjoy past season 20. I just know I have a lot more fun going back to watch the early stuff, and that is some amazing classics. I'm quite happy for a show which features a talking turd in it. Not to make sense. Yeah, me too. It's sometimes I'm watching it and like, is this something someone actually produced? That's South Park for me. Late, but I will go back and rewatch. Yes, we covered an entire UFO episode. It was a pretty good episode. I enjoyed it. It was Straker stuck on a damaged submarine, and Alec has to come and help save them, and he does. That's that's the 10-second review. And so I have put the link in the chat. If you have a good mic and internet connection, you may come up and we may talk to you depending on certain circumstances. But if you don't, if there are issues with your audio where I can't actually talk to you and there's lagging and stuff, I might have to drop you. So if anybody would like to join us, that'd be cool. If not, that's fine too. The Outcast Creative says that's when The Simpsons went from drawn animation to computer animation. Is that season? Well, which season? Because PvP said season 4 or 5, but I said season 13 is when I stopped being able to watch it. Hmm, that would be good to know. UFO is great, says Gavin Blackburn. Yeah, it was great. I'll show you some of the pictures. Since they're still here. And I really love it. Franco Walker has no mic. Just clicking the emoji button freezes my PC. Okay, well then that's not a good idea for you to try to join. I'm going to show you the episode. but backwards, but really fast. And so I really enjoyed. I liked. So most of the time they're just trying to deal with trying to find the UFO and destroy the UFO or learn about the UFO, or try to talk to the alien inside of the UFO. So I was happy with the change of pace. And oh, hey, we have a really great guest star who decided to join us. Welcome to the Outcast Creative.
Well, hey, I'm on your
Hey.
channel for the first time.
For the first time ever. Welcome.
It's so
How are
funny
you doing?
because I ducked out to cook when you were doing your episode, so I put the volume on really loud so I could hear it in the kitchen. And you
Mhm.
guys distracted me, and I didn't watch what I was doing, and I dropped a whole box of spaghetti all over the floor, and it went absolutely everywhere. I wish I'd taken a picture of it so I could show you. So I was running around picking
no.
up all these spaghetti strands, trying to dust them off, put them in the pan that was boiling, and it was an unintentional moment of comedy.
Oh. Oh, no. Well, hopefully you still have a good lunch with your floor spaghetti.
But I'm a really massive Jerry Anderson fan. I met him personally, and one of my best friends was also the visual effects director on the show that he did called Space Precinct, if you ever saw that.
Space Precinct, is that another show that was around this time?
It was that came out, I think it was, I want to say it came out in the, I think it was like the mid 90s, because he did Terrorhawks, which that's the only Jerry Anderson show I didn't really like. And then after Terrorhawks, he didn't do anything for a while. He did a Space Precinct pilot, which wasn't picked up. Then they did a new pilot with new cast, different actors in it. And then that got picked up, and then that ran for one season of that's it, about 13 episodes. My friend who worked on it was visual effects supervisor Alan Marks. Sadly, no longer with us, unfortunately.
Oh, Alan Marks. Okay.
Yeah. But because of Alan, I got to go and visit the set and saw the city that they'd built and the space station, and the detail on the models for that show was just absolutely phenomenal. It was really quite incredible.
Oh, they don't have any pictures, really. Just
No,
of,
there's not
of aliens.
because they're this pre-digital. So in terms of like on-set stills and stuff, you're kind of dependent on the stills photographer to have something. Now, of course, we have digital cameras filming everything pretty much. So
for sure, for sure.
it's a lot easier. But yeah, I mean, it's worth checking out. It's kind of
It looks
kids.
fun. You know what? I kind of like I want to see all the Jerry Anderson stuff. I think it's really neat.
Hello.
There was just one you don't like.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. Hey, welcome
Hi.
back, PvP. How are you doing?
Yeah, I just had to step away and take my pills. I got to take my pills once a
Oh,
day.
yeah, that's right. Well,
Nice to meet you.
PvP, please.
Oh, yeah, nice to meet you. Who am I talking to, by the way? I don't see a name here for some reason. I don't see any
Have I not
names.
got my there you go.
Outcast Creative. Oh, hi.
My channel's called the Outcast Creative because the acting class I run is called the Outcasts.
Oh, okay.
And that acting class kind of went online during lockdown, and then after lockdown, of course, it didn't need to be online. So after that, I turned my channel into a kind of creative industry focused channel, because I work in the industry.
Right.
So but I also like reviewing old movies because I just like really good quality films and TV shows.
Yeah, well,
and,
yeah, that's pretty much the same for Jill and myself. We pretty much do a lot of reviews on here. So
Except for the part where we don't work in the industry. So you have a unique perspective on how things are made.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still freaking out about the interview we did last week where I got Ron Underwood, who's director of Tremors, the movie Tremors, which was a big get, just getting him. And he also he was the location manager on Capricorn 1. In fact, he just sent me a load of location stills from Capricorn 1. And I had no idea that the model in that film, the rocket, was a model. I thought it was a full-size Saturn VII rocket that they'd carted out of, NASA or something and shot that scene in Florida with a full-size rocket. But it wasn't. It was, I'm going to get you the still real quick. I'll show you so you guys can see it, because that's a science fiction movie, of course. So
For sure,
yeah,
that's what we're here for.
here
Yeah,
you go.
I remember.
Exclusive.
you.
I remember Tremors. Tremors is just an awesome film. That's so much fun, that movie.
That's the model of the rocket, so you can see it's kind
Oh
of
wow.
4 times the size of a guy, and yeah, they're getting. I don't know whether they're getting ready to use that helicopter to film or what they're quite doing there, but yeah.
Wow.
So that's the
Wow.
size. I thought that was a real rocket until I saw this
That
still.
is so cool.
Yeah, it's
That
Yeah.
reminds me of some of the models that were made for Lord of the Rings. They were
Yeah.
very big too.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very big model. It must have taken a while to put that together. God.
I did an episode called Meet the Model Makers. They're all the interviews are all under industry interviews on my channel, and the model makers that all came on that are all massive fans of Jerry Anderson. So they've all built their own versions of Thunderbird 2, of the UFOs from UFOs. You know, they built the sub, and they built them to model studio scale. So they're coming on camera and casting these huge models, like 3-4 feet long, you know, from their garage or wherever. And it's quite an interesting episode if you're into model work. Capricorn 1, I got to see at the cinema for the first time 2 years ago.
But you saw it before on DVD?
The first time I ever saw it was on television, probably in
You're on TV. Okay.
TV 1980, maybe, I think 81. It was like there was always a big lineup of Christmas movies, and you know, I just saw this looks cool. I love the whole idea of them
I need to see this.
faking
put it on
them.
my list.
Have you never seen it?
No, I haven't.
My God.
It wasn't even on my watch list until right now. You did.
Yeah.
So that's part of my thing where
It's a fantastic,
I haven't seen a lot of
fantastic film.
Yeah, I have not seen it either, actually, sadly.
God. Oh
There's
well.
just so many films. Like I'd watched, so many films over the years, but there's just so many. There's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and maybe thousands even of good films. I still, I mean, I've seen a lot, but there's a lot I haven't seen. So
Yeah, Edge of Time says I dropped a box of spaghetti once and accidentally graduated art school. Wait, hey.
Yeah, that can happen at the same time. That's true.
yeah. As a guy with a bachelor's degree in fine art, I totally get that joke. That's very good.
and if Tiger Stripes extends it, if you taped a banana to the wall, you could have had your master's degree.
Oh, there you go. Gee, if I'd only known back then, it was that easy.
So Tiger Stripes has a question. So you interviewed Ron Underwood and not Ron Howard?
That was a typo I put in the chat, but I did correct it 2 lines down because Ron Howard was on my mind because I'm going to do a special on Cocoon. So if you guys are fans of the movie of Cocoon, and if you'd like to come on my channel and be my guest co-host for when we do that, you'd be very welcome.
My thing is that I don't know a lot of film, and so I watch things for the first time. So I'd have to check it out and see if I like it.
Wait, you've never seen Cocoon?
I haven't seen a lot of things because
Oh my God, Cocoon is like one of the best movies ever made, let alone one of the best science fiction movies. It's an amazing film. You have to watch that. It's like a 10 out of 10 movie.
Oh man, okay.
I mean, you're gonna cry. You're gonna cry when you watch that film.
Cry.
I'll tell you now. You're gonna.
It's on my list now.
I can't, as you can tell, I'm quite passionate about that film.
You are.
It's oh man, it's just such a good film. It's Ron Howard's second directing time after his first directing movie was Splash, and
Splash. Okay.
He did. Cocoon was his second movie. His mum and dad have both got cameos in it. So is his brother. His brother's in it as well. Because you guys are Star Trek. You guys are Star Trek fans, right?
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of which, welcome to the Trek Reviewer. Hi, good to see you. And yes, I absolutely love Star Trek, and so does PvP.
So you must know that Ron Howard's brother is in Where No Man Has Gone Before. Is it that episode? He plays the baby alien at the end. The
baby alien? Oh, yeah. Oh no! Wait, that's the Corbomite maneuver.
The Corbomite maneuver. Sorry, that's the one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Clint Howard is the alien in that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Ron Howard's brother.
Yeah, yeah, we are aware.
Um, it's funny because his acting career took off sort of bigger before Ron, but he kind of got into lots of difficulty with drugs and
Oh,
whatnot.
okay. I didn't realize they were related.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
brothers. Yeah, you didn't know that, Jill? Oh gosh.
Well, here I am learning about stuff, and it's good
Oh, that's good.
good things.
That's good that you realize that
Cocoon.
today.
His
Well,
brothers.
yeah. Like Tiger Stripe says, would everyone stop shouting at Jill for being young? She has a life. I'm actually not that young. It's just that I spent my entire childhood becoming like studying, doing homework, listening to music, and then I guess when I got to college, that's when I started watching movies and stuff. So I'm a little behind in that
Right.
sense.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to ask how old you are, but I mean, I grew up in the sort of. I mean, I'm old enough to have seen Star Wars at the cinema for the first time when it
Yeah,
came
I'm not.
out. So I'm
I'm
a
as old
child.
as Back to the Future.
Yeah, okay, there you go. So you're a child of the mid to late 80s. I'm a child of the mid to late 70s. So I got to see all those great films from 77 onwards. I got to see them all on the big screen for the first time. Star Wars, Back to the Future, all the kind of iconic movies of the 80s, Ghostbusters, Terminator, and the cinema
Of course,
experience
yeah.
is completely
I
different.
love Ghostbusters for sure.
When was the last time you guys went to a movie theater on a Friday or a Saturday night and every seat was sold out and every person was like completely gripped, waiting for the movie to start, no phones in hands or anything like that? When was the last time you saw that?
A sold out theater. It's been a long, long time. Like I don't
Wow.
even know how many years. Because usually when I go to, I don't go to movies much anymore because I don't really enjoy theaters all that much because they got like half an hour of commercials before the film starts and it's kind of annoying. And there's not that many films I really care about seeing being put out these days for the most part. But yeah, usually when I go to, the last time I went was I think the last James Bond movie probably, and there was like maybe 10 people in the theater.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that nowadays you can just purchase your seat, so you know exactly what seat you got, and so you pick exactly what seat you go in, and so there isn't the whole thing where you have to stand in line at midnight and wait for everybody to get through the
Yeah.
line and everything. And that wasn't that long ago that stopped being a thing.
So, Jill, are you just kind of like watching the UFO series for the first time? You're kind of working your way through it.
Absolutely, and I'm enjoying it, and I think that it's really cool. I enjoy the way that they make everything seem pretty real. This feels like there is a shadow organization doing these kinds of things. And I'm
Yeah,
wondering why they don't have airplanes that have rocket ships attached to them right now.
it's a fun show. I mean, it's got one of the best jazzy theme tunes of television history. Da 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 da, like Barry Gray at his finest, and yeah, and then it's got this really kind of grim, very spooky soundscape on the closing titles instead of the
Oh, right. Yeah.
that really sort of ominous aliens are out there and they're coming for your organs kind of Atmos track. So I remember
Oh yeah, that's what
watching
they're
it as a
doing.
kid.
Mentioning TV themes, though, I mean, I remember, like, I grew up in the '60s, and I remember, like, most shows back in the '60s and even into the '70s had fantastic main themes, right, at the start of the episode. Like, Man from Uncle or The Avengers or,
Yeah.
just, the Jerry, like, even Captain Scarlet had a cool theme, they were memorable. They were memorable back then, and nowadays, a lot of shows I find that the themes are kind of dull. To be honest, So
I think also because tone of television has changed. It's become much more grounded. There's a lot more kind of gritty, real drama as opposed to
I don't
hyper
know.
real action adventure shows that we used to get.
There are a few exceptions, like Game of Thrones has a good theme song, but I don't exactly want to talk about what happened to that kind of crash and burned.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
But it had a good song.
Even dramatic shows back then though. Like I met you guys, Joe, you probably don't remember the show. It's called The Fugitive with David Jansen starring in it. And that theme was very dramatic, like very memorable. So even some dramas had good themes back then.
Well, yeah, I liked the theme song for The Sopranos, but it was a lyrical theme. So
Okay. Gee, it's been
it's
so
a
long
little
since I
different.
watched any of those, I can't remember it now offhand.
Yeah, television themes used to be a big deal. It's true.
They
Yeah,
really did. Yeah.
I'm gonna pop my camera on for a second. So this is the vinyl soundtrack to the movie Cocoon.
Okay, let's see
Um,
that.
Absolutely amazing score by James Horner. It's one of his best. I always really loved this poster as well. I used to have this movie poster on my wall. Why you got me on camera? There's a load of my Thunderbirds stuff. There's a massive limited edition Thunderbird 3 up there. I took the camera.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
There you go. And then I've got an eagle from Space 1999. I've got two of them. There's one there and there's one up there. And the diecast 0X, which is from Captain Scarlet, is in there.
I have heard from other people you can't have just one eagle, so that makes sense why you have more than one.
You can't. Yeah, you can't. You've got to. I mean, any respected collector should have at least 6 eagles. Really, that's the SPV from Captain Scarlet. I knew that book was going to fall down. I picked this up from a junk shop for about 20 quid, so that was a really good.
Oh, wow, that's a find. Yeah.
That's cool.
And the same company that made this, which was called 21st Century Toys, also did a UFO, an interceptor, and the submarine. But unfortunately, they've gone out of business now. So the submarine from UFO, the diecast version of it, goes for like £300, $400. You know?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But oh man, hopefully someone buys that company and starts producing more of those things.
Yeah, good if they did that.
Yeah, collectibles can become extremely expensive once they go out of production. That's very true. Yeah.
Well, that is one of the things I like about UFO are the vehicles.
Yeah, I mean the model work in any Jerry Anderson show is always just amazing. And it's usually Derek Meddings who's behind it, who did all the model work on the James Bond film The Spy Who Loved Me, which somebody mentioned in your chat earlier. The one of the actors from UFO, the pilot of Skydiver, he was the Russian agent that gets killed at the beginning of that movie. That's got some amazing model work. The Spy Who Loved Me, incredible stuff.
Gotcha. Euler Greg, I just want to say hello to Euler Greg. He's here, and I miss saying hello to him. Has anybody seen Journey to the Dark Side of the Sun? Says Gavin Blackburn / Doppelganger.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've got it. I own it.
I saw so many years ago. I did see it once, but I can't remember it now because it's probably been. Oh, it's probably maybe back in the early 70s or something when I saw that.
Well, Gavin also says it's starring Ray Fiennes of The Invaders fame.
It's Roy Finnis, and he was awesome as the lead in The Invaders, Jill.
Yes, this is why I have PvP to correct all my pronunciation.
I'm sorry, but I just
no, don't be sorry. I'm being serious.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to make fun or anything. I'm just
yeah, but I didn't say that. I was totally being real.
Finnis is kind of one of those last names that can, kind of throw you for a loop, I suppose, right? Because,
It's the same with Barry Keoghan or Keogh.
For sure.
The Invaders is an awesome show, though, Jill. You should add that to your watch list for sure because it's fantastic. It's really good fun.
It actually just Jerry Anderson in general is in my list.
Well, it's not Jerry Anderson though. The Invaders is an American show.
If you want to see the trailer for Journey to the Far Side of the Sun, it's on YouTube. The whole video the whole film used to be on there, but it's a lot of those have been taken down now. But it's a weird film. It was him again trying to get away from puppets, and he wanted to do live action basically. He always wanted to do live action, but puppets were cheaper, and that was what he could afford. But it's basically about a man who does a space mission, comes back to Earth, but everything on Earth is reversed. So he's come back to a parallel Earth where more or less everything is the same, but things like the water runs the other way around in the sink, and time is different, and it's a bit like an episode of the Twilight Zone, really.
So it's like he's gone into another dimension. Yeah, like the Twilight Zone.
Parallel,
Mhm.
like a parallel universe. The model effects work in the film is absolutely first class. I think the film is a bit slow and ponderous, not as gripping as it should be. It's a bit of a slog, but it's worth watching. It's
Yeah. Well, like I said, this episode kind of was a little slow, but I'm pretty patient, so I don't mind when things take the time to roll out. I'm good with it.
I think you'll
usually.
probably like it.
Mhm.
Guys, I'm gonna have to duck because I'm due on Retro Nerd Girls channel.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
right. I was gonna say I see you on Retro Nerd Girl all the time, and so
Yeah, and
I'm just so happy that I got to see you.
No, listen, I like collaborating with other YouTubers. I pretty much have an open door on my channel. If you're a YouTuber and we've got some things in common, I don't care if you've got 5 subscribers or 5,000, whatever. You're always welcome. If I'm doing something and it works for you, and you want to come on, you just message me. The Outcast Creative Twitter profile is not active, and the password for that one's been lost. So if you want to contact me, the best way is through my work profile on Twitter, which is Lance Nielsen WD, which stands for writer director, and it's got the Outcast Creative written on the thing. And we've also got a Facebook page. You can get me there as well. But you're both welcome anytime.
Perfect.
If you haven't seen Cocoon and you guys want to watch it, because I'm not doing that episode. It's probably about 5-6 weeks away. It would be great actually to have a couple of people on that episode who've only just seen the film for the first time. I would love that. So
Yeah, because I have not actually seen it either. I sadly have to admit.
well, why don't
But
you
what
both
day?
try and
What day do you do it? Because I
well,
do work part time, so
the good thing is that it's an episode called Chew the Fat, where we chew the fat over a film or show we really like.
okay.
Usually lasts around 2 hours, and I've done them on Saturday evenings. I've done them on Sunday afternoons. I've done them on Sunday evenings.
Again,
The
that's pretty good.
latest I like to start a stream, the absolute latest, is 11 o'clock my time, which is 6 p.m. East Coast, 1 p.m. West Coast.
Okay. Yeah, I could probably manage that.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I like Sundays.
All right. Well,
cool.
let's look at a Sunday for that, and I'll let you guys.
Actually, yeah, Sunday would work because Jill and I do hang out on the weekend watching stuff, and we do a little Sunday morning watch party on Cosme.
Yeah, we watch Man from U.N.C.L.E. and the Avengers on Sundays.
Cool.
Yeah, but I think by 1 p.m. we're generally finished around that time, Jill.
Well, sure. When we get closer to the date, please let me know what the details are, and I will find you on Twitter. We'll connect that way. Thank you so much. Do you have anything else you want to plug or share?
I hadn't really thought about that. I mean, I do a regular show on 10 o'clock my time, 5 p.m. East Coast every Tuesday night, which is called the Nielsen Ratings. It wasn't on last week because we had the Ron Underwood interview on, but I do it every week, and I've got a regular panel of guests. Sometimes we have new people on, and we just talk about the latest films and shows that we've seen that we like. I tend not to waste loads of time talking about stuff that I don't like, because why would I want to do that?
Fair enough, right? That's why I'll mention some things, but I won't get into depth.
I mean, look, I'm doing a weekly podcast on Masters of the Air, and I wasn't impressed with episode 4. It had a lot wrong with it, and I said so, and I said exactly what my issues were with it. So I won't shy away from being critical about something if I'm expecting it to be good and it isn't. But I'm not going to go back and look at stuff I know is rubbish and talk about it, because it's just like, why do I want to do a stream on She-Hulk? You know what I mean?
Jill and I.
You know what you're getting in.
Totally agree.
You know
with
what you're getting into. Yes.
I'd just much rather talk about stuff.
Yeah, Jill and I are pretty much the same, actually. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you guys will fit right in. So and I have quite an eclectic bunch of YouTubers that I collaborate with. So
okay.
more the merrier.
Our little community.
Way to go.
a few of us others, we are pretty eclectic too. So
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you so much for deciding to join us today on this show. And I hope you have
Oh,
a great time. Say hi to Retro Nerd Girl.
I will.
She comes
yeah,
on my show too. And I
Great.
always enjoy talking to her also. So
yeah.
I will
Yeah,
see you.
we're talking 80s movies, I think. We're talking the
Yeah.
Oh, right.
obscure straight to video ones tonight. So
The
it's gonna
1984, very specifically.
yeah,
1984
that's it.
movies, right?
1984.
Yeah,
1984.
have fun. Have fun with that. Retro Nerd Girl rocks.
Year
Yeah,
of June and
yeah,
Terminator.
yeah. Say hi to Retro for me as well, and nice to meet you. By the way, nice to meet you.
Nice to
Mm.
meet you both. And like I said, you're both welcome on anytime. Anytime I've got something that's, of interest to you, just reach out to me and let me know. So, and thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. And
All right. Take care,
see you
guys.
next time.
Yeah, you too.
Great
Bye.
Friday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
All
Well,
right.
that was interesting.
That was really pleasant. He's really awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
good to meet Lance.
Interesting too to have somebody that actually works in the industry, right? To get
Oh
a different
yeah.
perspective.
And he knows a lot about the production of the TV and films, and it'll be so neat to learn from him certain special things that don't cross my mind very often. I learned some of that from Pop Culture Curator, so it'd be neat to see what I can learn from Lance
Well,
from the Outcast Creative.
I think we all tend to learn from each other because, I mean, I know you're younger than me, Jill, but I learn a lot of stuff from you. I mean, I just want to say. So I
Well,
think
fair enough. I do.
it goes both ways, right? All around. Like I learned from Pop, I learned from you, Gorilla. Like you guys are all interesting people and all fun to hang out and learn stuff with. So yeah.
I suppose that's what we're here for.
Well, we're not here to,
And
well, watch bad stuff in it. That's for sure.
well, yeah, but I might mention it time and again.
It does come up
Miskatonic
once in a while. Yeah.
Madman is here. He says, "Hello, folks. Late to the
Hey,
show
wow,
today. I'll
Miskatonic
have to
Madman.
watch the replay." Yeah, thank you so much for
Yeah.
stopping by. It's okay if
Hi.
you're late. I do hope you watch the replay. That sounds good. I just finished watching UFO for the first time a couple of weeks ago and really enjoyed it. I have so much fun watching UFO because it really feels like a place that exists under a film studio to help us combat the UFOs the aliens who want to take our organs. I think it's really great.
Yeah, exactly.
The Reluctant Dragon says, I saw UFO when it first showed up on US television. Back then, I didn't notice how cheap the costumes were. You mean not everybody dressed like that in the 70s?
Yeah,
I thought that was the prevailing style. All of my style of the 70s I learned from UFO.
Oh, by the way, I just posted a link to the Invaders wiki in the private there, Jill. So if you want to check it out, just if you want to copy paste it or whatever.
And Tiger Stripes showed some interest in being on the show to talk, and that would be really great. The link is in your Twitter DMs, Tiger Stripes. It's also pinned to the top of the chat. And so I missed some chat as we had the Outcast Collective here. And I hope his spaghetti was still good.
There's been quite a bit of chat today, actually, I gotta say. It's been pretty steady. Hey, you're up to 12 watchers now, Jill, so you're getting closer to your usual numbers.
Well, I had up to 17 when the Outcast Creative was here, so he's really wonderful.
So he brought some fans.
But I don't usually try to worry too much about the numbers. In my early streams, I was talking to Clobber Times. He was on my show earlier because he used to have free time on Fridays, so he used to show up on my show, and we would. I know, we were just saying we don't talk about things we don't like, but he and I used to rag on Strange New Worlds together, and it was a lot of fun. But but we would only spend like 20 minutes on it. We didn't spend like the whole time talking about it because it's not that good. But we did talk about it a little bit, and I would notice, man, it looks like I have zero people even watching, and I was getting self-conscious about it. He was like, don't pay attention to that number, it's always wrong. And so ever since then I stopped caring about it, so I'm not worried.
The the reason your channel is a good channel, Jill, is because of all the hard work you put into it and
Yeah.
the great content you create. And that's why I love to come on your panels when I can, because
What's
I like to try and add as much as I can, from my perspective, right?
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know,
and I
so
appreciate that. And it's not so much how many people are watching, it's that the people who do choose to watch are enjoying the show, and I do, and I enjoy talking back to the chat whenever they do
no.
want to engage in it, and they do such a good. I learn, like you were saying earlier, we learn not just from each other, but also from the people who join us in the chat.
Yeah, I like to learn any way I can, whether it's by reading something or listening to something or watching a video or chatting, in real life, with folks, even though I know we're over the virtual internet thingy, but we're still chatting in real time in real life, right, Jill? So that's a lot of fun,
Well, and not only that, I just added a whole bunch of movies to my watch list from that discussion we just had. And Franco Walker is like, "Oh my God, Jill, what have you been watching?" A lot of Star Trek. Rewatching and rewatching it. I love it. Franco Walker said, "I first saw Cocoon on VHS rental. Good film. Well, now I've got to watch it. I'm gonna be on with the Outcast Creative. That is so cool. Any collaborations I can find where I can learn about something and bring something to the table myself from my own opinions or experiences. That's gonna be great."
Yeah, I've heard a lot about Cocoon. I've never seen it either, Jill, but I keep hearing over the years like, "Oh, this is a good film. This is a really good film. Like this is a classic," and on and on, right? But yeah,
Mhm.
it's definitely one I've been meaning to watch like forever. But somehow there's so many other things I end up watching. I just have never gotten around to that one yet.
For sure. And that happens.
You
The
bet.
television themes used to be a big deal. Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Yep.
60s television was fun,
It was.
for
But I
sure.
think, you know what I think why 60s is probably my favorite decade for TV shows is the 50s was like just starting out, right? Like they didn't really have TV proper running until like probably around the mid 50s, I'm thinking. Uh, so that was like early days, and it was like real growing pains for the first, 5, 6, 7 years, right? When they were basically trying to figure the medium out, right? And they hadn't got the formulas yet that eventually TV ended up becoming. But then by the mid 60s, we started getting all these fabulously creative, inventive, original shows like Uncle, like Star Trek, like you name it, right? Back then in the 60s, there were tons of great shows, and they
I'm
all
sure there were tons.
were,
I haven't seen many yet. I
but they
saw the
were
Avengers.
I think the thing is, I'm trying to say though, in the 60s, originality was the thing because most of the stuff had never been done before, right? Like they were literally inventing the formulas for the medium of TV back in the 60s. And the people, thank goodness, were very creative, intelligent folks for the most part working on these shows. And it shows in the final product, right? Because I mean, you know, we're talking about shows that are like 50, 60 something years old, whatever it is now. And people are still, talking about them. There's still millions of fans out there. So it's like they were getting something right in that decade because, that's my favorite decade for sure.
My goodness, my microphone cut out. I just
I
wanted to
was
welcome
Uh-oh.
wondering.
Tiger Stripes, and it's so great to see you. How are
Hi,
you
Tiger
doing
Stripes.
today?
Good to see you. Hey, y'all. I'm good. How
Hello.
are you?
Hmm.
Yeah, doing well. Yeah.
That's good. That's
You
good.
said you said earlier, like an hour, 30 minutes ago. It's like that line in the Stonecutters song. Who made Steve Gutenberg a star? Guy from Nottingburg.
There are people who love Steve Gutenberg. I just don't
Oh
happen
yeah.
to be one of them. But um, I did a little research on that quickly, and I found that he really didn't know about that line for a long time. And then when he replied, he said something, typically Steve Gutenberg, very nice guy. He said, "I guess my fans made me a star." And then he,
Oh yeah.
pointed out the films that he had been in that had been very popular. I'm like, good repost, Gutenberg.
Well, it was a bit of a late response, but eventually he
Yes.
did make it. That's good.
Yeah.
Gavin Blackburn in the chat said, "I'm glad I managed to pick up all the Eagle Moss Federation starships before they went under. I'm so sorry I did not."
Wow.
Man, I know. I don't know if they're going to re-release them because I know they've been bought out by another company. I guess we'll find out
Yes,
someday.
when things get away from you, that pinches.
Hmm.
And then then the company goes under. Ouch.
Hmm. Well, there you go. Yeah, I know. That's what I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting that to happen. I wonder what sent them under. Maybe making all those dumb discovery ships.
They probably got a whole stock room of those left on sitting around collecting dust.
Yeah, nobody's going to buy those.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll have hope, guys, because sometimes the company will be bought
Oh,
out after they've gone under, and the new company will actually be a really good company and start producing a lot of the stuff again. Because as a kid in the '60s, used to build a lot of Aurora model kits, was the brand name, and they went
mm.
under years ago. I think in the I don't know early '80s maybe, and they were those were out of print. Those models were out of print for many years, and then a company bought them bought the rights and started producing the same kits again.
Well,
Uh,
that's good.
yeah,
Great news.
and they started. I guess it was maybe 20 years ago now, something like that. They started producing the kits again, which is fantastic. You know, because the original
Mm.
'60s kits cost a fortune. So yeah,
Yeah, for sure. I want to say hello to Donnie in the chat. I hope everyone is well. I plan to binge UFO at some point. After all, I
hey Donnie.
follow my favorites. Yeah, good
That's
idea.
very
It's
nice.
mhm. Oh, but of course, his first love is Power Rangers. He's got to watch Super Mega Force.
Gee, what gives you that idea, Jill?
I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe he doesn't like Power Rangers at all.
Uh, oh boy.
Okay, it's a, mhm. So yeah, he's Mighty and Morphin. Well, that's good to know for sure. Well, I only discovered this channel a few months back via Mr. Brown. Yeah, I think actually
Ah,
at least 50 people found my channel through Mr. Brown Alliance when I showed up on his panel.
Mm.
And I will go back eventually and watch the older content I've not seen. Those little watch early vids will get watched. Oh,
great. Jill's got a
nice.
lot of great
Well,
streams.
you might see a devolution of my presentation style if you go back far enough.
Yeah, I should go back and watch your very first video, actually, Jill. That might be
Oh
fun.
no,
Yeah, I got to do that
don't do
too.
it.
I got to do that too.
No, I'm so nervous, and you can tell.
I, I really have a hard time believing you were ever that shy when you started your YouTube channel, but you've said many times that you were. So I think it's amazing. Like you're so confident on your streams now. Like you're just awesome on your
Well,
streams, Jill.
it's just a
You know,
combination of learning from others, and specifically all of the great YouTubers that have
uh,
come before me,
that makes
and
sense.
also from Scotty too.
Jill has
Matt,
a
yes,
massive knowledge of Star Trek, and that really shows.
that is my foundation. That's the foundation of my channel. I got to start
Yes.
somewhere. Thank you.
Interested is interesting.
And Mad G just tipped $1.25. I wish I
Ooh.
could send 10 Whataburger value meals to your home. Like the hot dogs. Actually,
Oh,
though, they would get eaten here. I have a kid who's gonna on the verge of becoming a teenager in a few years, and so he
Wow.
would eat like 3 of them
oh,
probably. And so then my husband could eat two. So they would actually get eaten. Hey, Darius, welcome back. Police Academy 1 through 4 and Short Circuit. All classic 80 movies. I love Short Circuit. That's actually on my list of things to review. I was always jealous of Johnny Five for how much he could read. Oh, hey, welcome, King Dolphin. Oh no, I got an echo. We got an echo on your end. So, King Dolphin, please work out your echo and come back. You got an echo going.
And I think Police Academy was the Steve Gutenberg starring role, one of the
Oh,
things
okay.
that did make him really famous. So.
Oh, and okay, that's what got you talking about him. I get it now. And also a combination of that and the Simpsons discussion. Oh, hey. Hey, Tony. Great to see you. Stark of Iron says, great YouTubers.
Hello.
Yeah. Well, for sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, like Cardinal Sin, Clobber Time. I, of course, I moderate for Overlord DVD, so he's my hero, and it's really great. It's really great to learn from everybody else and try to do my best.
Well, that's the thing, Jill.
And just have
You
fun.
you have a
Oh,
great
hey.
foundation in Trek, but you are rapidly learning a lot of other stuff from the community. So your
Well,
knowledge base is expanding for sure.
exactly, and I want to know more. I must consume knowledge. Also, hello, King Dolphin. Raymond, how are you today?
Good. Good. That comment you just made sounds like the new Galactus. You have to consume knowledge. You hunger for knowledge. And hello to the chat. Hello, Tiger Stripes. Hello, Pleasant Valley.
Hey,
Yeah,
Hey, Raymond.
Raymond, your mic is still a little. Oh, hold on just a moment.
Uh-oh.
Okay, she stepped away. Is there an issue with my mic?
You sound a little far away somehow.
you sound like you got a pillow over it.
Yeah, it's a little distant sounding.
How about now?
Or as Rennie said in the chat the other day, like you're in the toilet.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
How's that? Is it better?
No. Do you have
No,
settings on your mic?
Yeah, I don't know. No, your sound used to be so good, and I don't know what happened. Like
Sometimes
from
mics will have settings omnidirectional or the figure 8 for 2 people.
Oh,
So if your settings just kind of got bumped, that could be it.
yeah, that could be it.
When I've watched Raymond's channel, his mic usually sounds really good
Yeah,
most of the time.
Raymond's mic is usually aces.
Yeah.
How about now?
Keep talking.
Testing one. Strangers in the
That is
I
much
wasn't-
better.
oh.
You've lost the fuzz, but you could be a little louder.
Yeah, your volume is a bit low.
Tony,
yeah.
I wasn't saying you weren't great. I think you were great, Tony.
Dolphin
I was just listening some of my early influences. You weren't around yet. Your channel is a bit younger than mine. And Johnny says I miss Gil as well, and yeah, I do. I miss him so much.
Yeah, we all miss Card.
And so that's why I'm glad that Canadian Spider-Man has started a Thursday show, because Gil used to stream on Thursdays. So now you can always go to Canadian Spider-Man's channel on Thursdays, and he's covering all of his trips that he's taken all over the world. So he's sharing, so we can vicariously go on vacation every Thursday with Canadian Spider-Man.
Yeah, that is cool.
Usually at nighttime.
I think I fixed it.
Yeah, you sound a lot better.
Your gain could still be up. Darius Munchausen says, sounds like speaking through a pillow inside a toilet in a warehouse inside a cave on the moon.
Actually, I prefer Franco Walker's that I'm underwater.
Wow, that's good.
Underwater.
That's really good. It is a little watery. Good. It's better now.
Okay.
You could still turn your gain up a little, I think, but it's good.
I'm on. Boom.
Uh-oh.
I said it. No.
Oh yeah, now you're real quiet.
That sounds worse now.
Sound check. 1, 2, 3. Nope. I'm sorry, Raymond. I'm so glad you're here, but at least you know you got this issue now.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to.
Wow, you're really muffled now.
Go to work. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to switch over to my computer.
Darius said, I did get to see Red Dwarf on PBS Saturday nights and fell in love with it. I love Red Dwarf too. Such a good show.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, that's something that I discovered alongside Star Trek, and so that was a neat pairing.
Wow, that's quite a divergent, situation. Red Dwarf and Star Trek are very different.
they're very different, but they both kind of take science fiction. Well, Red Dwarf takes it a little more comedically, but there's a lot of care in both shows.
Yeah, they're both well-written shows for sure. Yeah.
All right, how is this?
Oh, that's much better.
Yeah. Oh, there's echo though.
Uh-oh.
I've got the cancellation.
Oh, okay. The echo went away.
StreamYards. I love
Steve are
it.
doing it. Mhm. Yeah, I know, right? Oh yeah, Miskatonic Madman says I want to go to Japan now after watching Canadian Spider-Man's last broadcast. And I fell asleep before that broadcast ended, so I need to go back and watch because I wanted to see the ramen. So I got an errand. If I can activate this old General Electric Cathedral radio, I can send an associate of mine. Kind of hard to contact him during the daylight hours. Oh, well, if you can, the show will only be going on for another 26 minutes or less. So we're pretty close to the end there. But if you do want to hop on, the link is in the chat. Or your friend, whoever he is.
I'm glad I'm here then. So glad.
Right?
Darius, stop goofing on poor Canadian Spider-Man. It was just the one time and he was outside.
Franco Walker says, I've got Red Dwarf on VHS. And if he needs help, we call the fire department, not the Mounties this time. Yes, the fire department. Yes, that's what he told me. That's what he told me too. Never call the Mounties, apparently. Bad idea.
It was really, although I got to say, seeing that Mountie show up just was the cherry on top of the whole Sunday. It made the whole thing so great.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Please subscribe, share, hit the like, and select live chat. Well, yeah, we were worried about our friends, so we got together and helped them. The Trek reviewer says there was a lot of classic sci-fi in the 60s. For example, Star Trek, Lost in Space, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, Doctor Who, The Second 100 Years, Bewitched, and I Dream of Jeannie. Oh, that's a great list. I still haven't seen Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. I am currently in a watch through of Lost in Space. I understand they're from the same creator.
Yes, they are from Irwin Allen, and you need to see Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. It is classic.
And
Right.
Voyage is very similar to Lost in Space, Jill, in the sense that the first season's in black and white, and it's very, very serious and dramatic. And then in the second season, it goes to color, and it starts to kind of get more, monster of the week after a while.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
much
true,
monster.
but
They're
still.
both monster of the week.
It's classic Irwin Allen stuff, really, isn't it? Tiger Stripes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan, so I don't like really talking too much about things that I'm not a big fan of. I don't want to poop on the parade.
Okay.
If other people like it, they like it. Yeah.
I would think it was classic. Yeah, the monster that we got old.
Sounds like I'd be happy watching season 1.
The
think
black
I'll
and white
do that.
episodes, I think, are where you should stay on those.
Well,
Unlike
that's
the
how I kind of
Avengers, which
feel.
somehow always offers something new, even though they're often retooling old plots. It's still always wonderful to watch just because of the chemistry between Peel and Steed.
Oh, yeah, I
Yes.
love the Avengers. Oh, yeah. I
Yes,
love
we're watching that. That's pretty good.
The twinkle in their eyes for each other never gets old for me.
They're a fantastic team. Yeah, I love the
Very-
Avengers.
Yeah, they're best friends forever. I love them.
Oh, Steed and Emma.
Oh,
are-
I think they're best friends with benefits, personally.
No, they don't. No, that's
Oh yes,
the magic.
oh yes, they do.
That's the magic of them.
Well, they don't show
have
it
that-
to you, but it's made pretty
No.
clear eventually
No,
that they do.
They are romantic, but they are not. But she's
Oh yes,
married,
oh
so
yes.
they don't do
but
that.
her husband's missing, and she could.
Yeah.
She's basically a widow.
Well, they don't show it because they're friends.
They don't show
and
it, but
can
eventually they
control
talk. But
themselves.
eventually they talk about it.
I disagree. I think that they control themselves and they're professional, but they're flirty at the same time. And
There's
they,
a
but they
point
get the
where,
job
toward
done.
the end of an episode, they're perusing X-rated films that they could go see. And at some point, one or the other of them folds up the paper and says, "Or we could just stay in tonight." And I think it's pretty obvious what they're
I
talking
haven't
about.
seen that episode.
Yes, yes. Well, it is just the the little the bumper on the end of the whole episode. So I don't think I'm spoiling it too much. And
yeah.
and then there's the episode where someone asks Steed if he has a cat, and he says, "Yes, I have a beautiful auburn pussy." And
Yes.
Yes, I don't think that's accidental.
I thought that was just a joke. I thought
I'm just saying, I think all of the clues are there if you need to see them. If you don't want to believe that they're carnal, that's okay.
Yeah, I absolutely believe they're in love with each other, but they can never do that.
Oh,
And
they
I
definitely have.
I don't think they touch, and I
yes,
haven't
they
seen
do.
anybody take their boots off.
They just
like
don't
Captain
touch in
Kirk.
public, which is very British.
All right. PBS showed a lot of BBC classics in my childhood, but Blake 7 was not one of them, or Doctor Who. Yeah, and I need to watch Blake 7. I watched the first few episodes because Clabby and Kel are reviewing it, but I haven't had as much time to be able to follow along. If I did catch up, I'd have to binge watch like 10 episodes.
That's a lot.
It would be. I'd have to take a whole day or two.
Or three.
Oh, yep. There was oh yeah. See, I read that one already. And so he's gonna go back and finish Japan on Thursday on Canadian Spider-Man's channel. But Darius turns it into a joke. Gonna finish all over Japan? Bukkake stream. And Donnie says, after hearing the news that Comcast, NBC, Universal, and Paramount Global are in talks of merging Peacock and Paramount Plus into a streaming joint venture, I decided to remain neutral on that.
I cannot be neutral. I hope they don't. I like Peacock very much.
Yeah, I like Peacock too. Well, and a merger might mean a decrease in how many free things they allow to be broadcast.
Exactly. Yeah, Paramount's all about monetizing, and Peacock, I do subscribe to Peacock Prime, which is just dirt cheap. So when somebody's going to offer me something for like $12 a year, I'm all in. But Paramount really seems to be about the monetization. And
also Paramount seems to be a little bit woke, so it seems like they might censor some things, and that wouldn't be good.
Oh, the wokeness now is everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
although
I know
it's worse with the what you like to call the filth. As I understand, I can't really speak because I haven't watched any of it, than almost anything else. The fact that they really seems to be seriously bent on deconstructing something that was so perfect and fine when they got hold of it.
Well, right, they say
I have not noticed NBC doing that to any sort of thing, but then I haven't been paying a lot of attention.
But then there's the hopeful idea that maybe NBC will make Paramount better. I don't know.
Well,
I guess it depends on who's on top of the pyramid. I can't quite hear you, Raymond. Go ahead.
Yeah, you were sounding good for a little while. Now you're muffled again.
Okay. How about now? I said, sadly, we watched the reboot of Night Court, and from the beautiful series that it was in the 90s, it became woke.
Hard pass.
Oh, is that the new one? Oh,
yes,
no.
The new one.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of that. I couldn't bring myself to watch it because I did like the original Night Court.
Same here completely. Same here completely.
I thought I'd give it a try. John Le Roquette is a master, but he couldn't save the show.
Wow. That's sad.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it seems it seems like they're trying to deconstruct all of our classic media, like just tearing everything apart. Like every franchise is just getting deconstructed and destroyed, it seems.
They're glomming onto every old idea that ever was, and they're not even redoing it and representing it in a different way, the way that television did for decades. They're just saying, oh, you liked that show, it's the same show but different. And they don't even change the title. It's just driving me crazy.
Yeah, remakes can be good, but in this case, they're not doing it because they want to show something new and interesting or an interesting take on it. They just want to use it to grandstand instead of trying to tell a good and interesting story. So now it's all about activism for something rather than trying to, make
The
us laugh or
message.
inspire us.
Yeah, it's
Things
all about the
used to
message.
be-
Definitely.
We're not even sure what message they're putting.
Well, the thing is,
I like to say that whenever the critical
Division.
drinker says the message, he throws up a poster that looks like it was made in elementary school of all the things all stuck to the poster.
yeah,
So
that's
if you've never
hilarious.
seen that, you need to have a look at that because it just explains it.
Very funny, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I don't really talk about a lot of the newer things because of that occurring. And so anything
Yes.
that's divisive, it's not going to be fun for me to
Yes.
review or watch or whatever.
The thing
So
is,
right now, I'm going to mention a movie that I saw recently that is science fictional that I recommend to everybody. It's
Ooh.
called Palm Springs,
Palm
and it
Springs.
stars Andy Samberg. And it's
Okay, Andy
available
Samberg.
for free on platforms. It was made a few years ago, and I was watching it go by on all the platforms over the years, and it looks like a rom-com from the thumbnail, but it is actually science fictional. I will say, if you have kids, you don't want to have it on with the kids. There's a sex scene right off the jump, in the first 5
that's a
minutes
good
of the
warning.
film. And so you don't want the kids around. It's an adult film.
I'll put
It's
them
not-
to bed first.
It's not terribly graphic. It's a comedy. It's meant to be funny, but it is a sex scene. So there's that. But it's
science fiction. This looks like they're having a vacation.
Exactly. It's absolutely science fiction. And I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to say too much more about it. It's very good.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, there you go. I'll just leave it on that. There's a geyser of some kind of
boy.
alcoholic beverage.
That looks like me when I was a teenager. Just joking.
Yeah, except he's in his 30s.
Well, the great thing about it is that everything you've just seen, there's a complete reason for it happening within the context of the film. There's just no wasted moments in this film. It's so good.
Right. Does the radio still live? That is a deep question.
That is, I thought video killed the radio star, as I understand. But
What did YouTube do to the radio?
I listen to radio still a bit. We have a local channel that has a lounge show on Saturday mornings, and it's just a blast. So,
Well, very good. The radio is something to cherish. If it still works, learn how to maintain it, and it'll live forever.
oh, honey, you can't get those tubes anymore. You'll be hunting for the rest of your life for
The
those
vacuum
tubes.
tubes?
Yes,
Well,
the vacuum tubes.
Tony could probably make them. He's an engineer. I don't know if he has the materials or anything. That's the only difficult part. The Reluctant Dragon says the writing in modern film is so bad. My reaction to practically every movie announcement is, oh God. That's why I really liked Oppenheimer, because it actually felt like adults were writing a movie, and I think that was just so refreshing. And
I have to watch that one. That one's available on Peacock right now, I think. So I have to.
Yeah, you have to.
It's either Peacock or Hulu.
Yeah,
so I
haven't
just
seen
don't
that
know
one
if I
yet
just
either.
have such low standards because of the grade school writing everywhere else. Franco Walker says radio is still alive and kicking here in the UK. Lots of comedies and drama. Oh,
Wow,
that's great.
that's so
Oh,
unusual.
really?
Wow.
There's
There's
a
crazy cool.
a big radio company in the UK that does new Doctor Who episodes and has been for quite a while. And I've heard that they are very good.
Uh-oh. Snoopy's upset. Snoopy does not like the radio.
Just looking inside and
I'm sorry, Tiger Stripes. Oh, hey, Stark of Iron is here, but he is here under the guise of Alastor. Welcome to Alastor. How are you?
Why, hello there.
All right. Well, from the
I heard
radio,
that somebody said that video killed the radio star. I beg to differ.
well, then there you go. Well, if you're still around, then everything is okay then on the radio front. Really,
How's everyone doing this wonderful afternoon?
really great.
Yeah, we're fine.
Well, where do you come from, Alice? Or I've never heard of you before.
Some people, they do this thing called, expire. But, and then they end up in places that are less than savory. Which is totally and utterly unfortunate, but, well, these things happen.
Well, okay, so you're like death?
Oh, if I was death, no one would be around. But fortunately for you, I'm definitely worse.
Oh, okay. Well, that helps a bit. Thank you. Franco Walker says, "Holy crap, Alice! What sort of 40s mic are you using?"
Well, there was microphone trouble coming from the dolphins in space.
I think he's preparing you for your 666 episode.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good preview for our 666 episode. He is having difficulties. He lost his devices.
Well, that's what happens back in, show business. Sometimes the technology does need to improve. Isn't that right, folks?
Mm-hmm. Darius says, "What's a vacuum tube?" Benny Hill music. Goo goo gaga. Oh man. Oh, my physics 2 teacher one time showed us vacuum tubes, and so we all learned what they were. If just one of them goes out, everything's messed up. We learned about electricity, V equals I, and all that. Very basic.
I remember the day when you could walk into Radio Shack and they had a back wall full of vacuum tubes, and you could actually buy a vacuum tube if you needed a specific one, but that was then. This is now.
Yeah, Radio Shack.
I remember that scene in The Brave Little Toaster. That was just so marvelous. Can you get me some more radio too?
Oh, The Brave Little Toaster. That's one of my favorite movies. So cute. And it's also a little spooky. Well, guys, I've got just 9 minutes left, so I've got to start rolling out. And it just feels like the show just started. It really feels like I could have another hour here and have a good time. But I cannot. I have responsibility in the real 3-dimensional world outside of this wonderful. Oh.
No, please give me a heads up before your prophecy, the prophecy show. And I want to point out, folks, it's the prophecy, not prophecy.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to get 7 subscribers before. If I get it by Thursday, I think I'll do it. But if it happens to happen on Friday, that's going to be too late for me to decide to do a stream. Or maybe I should get it prepared. Yeah, it's possible. It's very likely going to be next Friday because it's only 7 subscribers, right?
Yeah.
If you have not subscribed,
that's
please
just
subscribe.
A hiccup. Yes.
Share and hit the like. Right? That it usually when I'm this close to a goal, I get to it, but that's usually at the 100 mark. I've never had a goal in the middle of the waypoints. So, King Dolphin, can you tell me what you're up to on the internet and where you're going, what you're doing this week?
Sure. King Dolphin TV. I do interviews. I do reviews, comic book reviews. I focus on comic books because I am not as technically adept as the wonderful anti-derivative Jill. I'm doing screenshots and whatnot. Plus my reviews tend to be rather eclectic as they are. So I focus right now on comic books.
It's really cool.
I am currently.
I like when you reviewed that comic that was after, like, kind of a sequel to Star Trek 4.
The unofficial sequel of Star Trek 4, yes.
Yeah, that was great.
I like that. But yeah, I do reviews, and then on every Saturday, we do Just Cause, where I bring in a panel of characters, and we have fun, we chat, we just have a great old time on Saturday, because anything can happen. So please
For sure.
join up. The big project is PodCon coming up in
Oh
June.
yeah, that's real.
June 22nd in Gettysburg,
Oh.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, in Gettysburg.
Gettysburg. So you thought the Civil War was bad for that poor little town. Wait till the pod comes in.
And you guys, you're gonna play music, right?
Yes, we are. We're gonna play music.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
For lack of a better name, the band will be.
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking. Like the pod is our musicians, so shouldn't you have a band name? You gotta. But anyway, thank you, Raymond. Yeah, hi, Stoopy. Anyway, thank you for being on today, Raymond.
Oh, thank you for having me. Wish I was on earlier, but I had chores. We got family coming over tomorrow, so.
Oh, right.
Got the honeydew list.
Stoopy.
No.
Tiger Stripes. Here, I'm just gonna mute you just for a little bit, Raymond. Tiger Stripes, do you have anything you want to share before we head out?
Oh, I did want to recommend Palm Springs. I do want to recommend The Prophecy, not just Prophecy, The Prophecy. You want the one with Christopher Walken. And
Christopher Walken,
yeah, it's Christopher Walken. God, I loved that commercial on the Super Bowl. That was, I think, my favorite commercial of the Super Bowl.
That commercial was the best.
I couldn't stop thinking about Cardinal, of course, through the whole thing.
Yeah, that's immediately who I think of too.
If Gil was there, it would have been a shoo-in.
I'm working on just getting things up in the air. I'm thinking about. So that's it. But I love being here, and I love talking with people and sharing the new good things that are good.
We miss you on Saturdays, Tiger.
Oh, well, thank you. I was out and about on Saturday, but I'm going to try to get by sometime.
Yeah, we had ladies' night, and people were definitely thinking of you for sure.
I really wanted to be there. I was actually out of the house last Saturday, so.
And so, PvP, what are you doing on the internet?
Well, I'm still working on my music channel, doing playlists and stuff. I really should do a live stream one of these days if I can figure out how to actually do one. I probably should talk to Pop about that, and he could probably point me in the right direction, I guess.
My good fellow, I died in 1933, and I can do it.
Okay. Yeah, I just have to put in the time. I always seem to get preoccupied on something else. But yeah, I'm just working on playlists. Was adding some more music the other night, and I'm currently immersed in power pop bands because I'm working on my third one and my fourth one, power pop playlist. Now I've actually really learned a lot about power pop over the last month, because once I thought I'd just dive into a specific genre, I just was amazed at how many really good bands there were back in the late 70s, early 80s, into the 80s. And there's a lot of amazing bands that are basically unknown because, they probably put out 2 or 3 albums and then, disappeared, right? But there's a lot of really good music there. So I'm going to be making some of those public soon. I guess that's pretty much it, Jill.
That's pretty good. That's good. That's a good start.
Yeah.
And so, Tony, Alistair, whoever you want to be, please tell us about your channel or what you're doing online. What's coming up?
Tonight, we will be having our after Friday Night Frolics party that we always have after Doomcock Show on Friday Night Frolics, which you can catch in just a few hours. And then I will be on with Fermented Cinema tomorrow. Well, Mr. Stark will. Unfortunately, I will be busy doing things elsewhere. Then I will have Mr. Stark remind you all that he will be interviewing Jedi Bill on the Tower After Hours Sunday evening at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Bill.
And then on Monday, ladies and gentlemen, we are having a 12-hour. Let's hurry up and get that money stream. That's right, folks. 12 hours. From 4 p.m. to 4 a.m., we will be venerating midnight to midnight, just like on the Cardinal Sin Show, with 12 hours of entertainment.
Yeah, that's cool. What a wild party. I get really tired of streaming just after 4 hours. So That's pretty incredible to go for 12. That's going to be so cool. And so is that it? You got it?
We have 12 hours left on the channel. YouTube is adding literally one at a time. So the way I figure,
you have to be.
if only if only one person watches for every hour of that 12-hour stream, they have no excuse.
I think you should do the ending of the show 5 minutes before the 12-hour mark, because I think the last 5 minutes will get cut off.
Yes, they do cut you off. Yes.
They cut you off before you actually hit 12. But that was great. Thank you. It's not a party until I walk in. It's edge of time. And man, I'm so glad you guys came to hang out with me today. I gotta get going now, but I got life and stuff and things.
Thank you for the live stream, Jill.
You're
It
welcome.
was great fun again, Jill, and I just want to thank you and for the honor of being your co-host for the first part when we were talking UFO. That was really nice.
Oh yeah, you're really great at talking about UFO, so I'm so glad you hung out for that, and everybody who showed up in the panel afterwards. Tony, glad to see you, and Raymond.
Always a pleasure, my dear.
And it's always a pleasure to see Tiger Stripes. And also, I don't want to forget to thank Lance from the Outcast Creative, who was also on with us for a little while. He is really great. If you want to know where he is right now, he is streaming with Retro Nerd Girl about 1984 movies. And so that's pretty great. And
speaking of the 80s, I have one more shameless plug. I just posted my most recent song that I had released on the Stock of Iron YouTube channel. So go give it a listen on your way out.
All right. Radical.
Thank you, Jill, for having me on. I wish I would have been here for the UFO stream. Because I love that. I love that series too.
Oh yeah, well, I will be talking more about UFO. I have a few episodes left, and so we'll get through them now and again. Oh, Scotty said to say hi for him, so I forgot this entire time to do that. So Scotty R37 says hi.
Wow, right at the end. Okay.
Because I completely forgot.
That's hilarious. Oh,
Take care, all.
Yeah, everybody have a wonderful Friday. Of course, check out Friday Night Frolics and Tony afterwards, and just have a really great day. And yeah, also Bird of Prey 5 is probably streaming in now, possibly, maybe. Go check it out. And so on Tuesday, I'm going to have the Mark of Gideon on my Tuesday Star Trek Original Series show. We have 8 episodes left, and so we're on the countdown to finish that. And I'm not sure what we're going to do Friday. It depends on whether I get to 666. So until then, and so exactly. So I'll see you all next time. Bye now.
Yeah, bye everybody.
Take care.
Is anyone aboard?
All bridge personnel report immediately. Engineering. Mr. Scott?
Captain Kirk?
Captain Kirk was transported down.
He never arrived. Who are you?
If you didn't bring me here.
That's right. Who has brought you here?
I request permission to beam down to conduct the search for our captain.
Permission denied.
You're gonna let him get away with that?
This would be madness.
Transport me down right this minute and I'll prove to those...
I cannot accept the responsibility for ordering a fellow officer to violate a Starfleet directive. I can make such a decision only for myself.
You come to die.
I don't know. I only know I'm happy.
and the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
See you around the galaxy.